Hello everyone, welcome to this 10-year anniversary special live stream to celebrate 10 years of my channel. So I thought I'd do a lovely little Q&A like I did last year, which went down really well last time, and I really like doing these live streams. Gosh, there's 11 people already, that's crazy, and I'm just looking at the comments now, which is wonderful. It's great to see questions already flying in, which is wonderful. So while we wait for a few more people to join, I'm just going to do something a little bit technical and add that there. So if you're just joining, you can see that there. So there we go. So start asking your questions. There's quite a few already, which is lovely. Yeah, it is absolutely crazy to see all these lovely questions coming in. So I look forward to answering those. But I'll do a little bit of news first, because we've had some new news, which is always very exciting. We've had the announcement of the Dalek Universe covers. If I can load them up on the old computer, and then we can have a little look at the covers, because I think they are some of the best covers Big Finish have done. I think they're absolutely stunning. Just give me a second to load them up. So that's August, September's releases. Yeah, this is really cool. I'll just have a quick check at the chat while that loads up. Yeah, there we go. Looking forward to a stream. Hopefully I deliver an all right stream, because it feels a bit weird doing a live stream on my own, because I've normally got a group of people with me doing these live streams. It's always fun, but I thought it'd be quite nice just to do a little solo dolo one today. So if I go on production credits, is it production credits or backstage would it be? There we go. Got the covers. Right, I'm going to screen share this because they deserve to be seeing these covers. So if I just share my screen, and then we can have a look at the Dalek Universe covers, because I think that they are pretty darn snazzy. So if I put that into a new tab, hopefully we can see Chrome tab. There we go. Share. Can you see that? Can you see these lovely covers? Look at that. Dalek Universe free covers. So we've got the first Son, the Dalek Defense, and the third story, the Triumph of Davros. Now, Dalek Universe has been one of the highlights of Big Finish for me, because it's been something I've wanted them to do right from day one with David Tennant, to have it, for him to have his own Dark Eye series. And just look at those covers. It looks absolutely stunning. I can't wait to dive into that. That's out October, and yeah, it's definitely a really good series. So if you haven't checked out Dalek Universe, check it out. So there we go. That's the Dalek Universe covers. They look very, very splendid. Oh gosh. Oh, blimey, there's a few questions, so I think I better start going on the questions, or else we'll be here all night. So yeah, very cool. So if we just load up the questions. So I believe there was a question asked by Benjamin James Miller first, which was about, are you excited about the Christopher Eccleston Sideman story? Absolutely. I'm really excited. Eccleston and the Cybermen. It was, I think, when I did my initial video about Christopher Eccleston joining Big Finish, I wanted a Ninth Doctor Cyberman story, and we're getting it, and that's really exciting. We've got another question from Benjamin James Miller. I'm hoping they do a Christopher Walker Thompson gets cast in the Second Doctor upcoming Second Doctor Adventures, because he does a great Troughton voice. Yeah, he does a good Troughton voice, but for me personally, I'd say I'm quite happy with Fraser Hines. I think Fraser Hines is my favourite. Pitch School Black, I'm quite early, but good evening. Good evening to you. Oh, this sounds like a really difficult question. If the John Pertwee era was completely non-existent, how would your view / appreciation of Doctor Who's shift, if at all? Oh gosh, I don't want to be in that universe where there's no third Doctor. That would be absolutely horrible if it was all missing. But I think it would make my appreciation of the era grow. I think that it'll become more special and more magical. It's like when you first discover Doctor Who, that sort of excitement of diving into classic Doctor Who and seeing glimpses of it on Doctor Who Confidential. So I think there'd be a great sort of mystery and that what if feeling, much like the missing episodes. So I think my appreciation would definitely grow. I think that it will just become even more magical of that whole era missing. And I think that would be quite special to have that magical feel to it. So what other question we got from Pitch School Black? Have you ever watched Doctor Who with your dog? Yes, I have. Many a times, actually. It's my dog's like a little shadow, follows me around. So wherever I am, the dog's probably there too. So yeah, when I'm watching Doctuva, the dog is probably there. Benjamin James Miller, are you planning on overviewing Dalek Universe? Yes, there'll be a live stream in October. Another Big Finish fans, and we'll do a review on that as well, which will be pretty exciting. But I will do an individual review, sort of overviewing the Dalek Universe series and sort of talking about the various other things like the River Song story and what is it, Dalek Protocol. I'll be covering that as well, and I might throw in the Fourth Doctor Series 8 in that list as well. But hopefully in the coming weeks there'll be a sort of I'm planning on doing like a week of reviews on Dalek Universe. So one day will be Dalek Protocol, then the other will be Dalek Universe 1 and 2. So there'll be sort of a week celebrating Dalek Universe, which will be quite cool. Pitch Go Black. What are the worst audios from each Doctor? That is a good question. Well, I guess I've got to answer 2 for the first Doctor, because you've got the David Bradley stuff and then the actual first Doctor stuff. So for the David Bradley stuff, I'd say Destination War, because it's got James Dreyfuss and he's a very nasty person, and I don't like him. And the story's not that great either. But for First Doctor, what other First Doctor stories are there? What I'm not too keen on. Maybe Entanglement. It's not a bad story, but I just off the top of my head, I wasn't too keen on it. Maybe Second Doctor. Second Doctor. I'd probably say maybe the Curator's Egg or the Morton Legacy. Third Doctor, I'd say Havoc of Empire, one of the first from the Tim Trelaw audios. Tom Baker, I'd say Suburban Hell. I'm not too keen on that one. That seems to be quite a popular one, but I go against that opinion of it being popular. So there we go. Fifth Doctor, Necromancy is the obvious one, but I'm not going to say it. I think maybe, what other bad Fifth Doctor audios are there? I mean, Necromancy is the obvious one, but I don't want to say it. What other Fifth Doctor audios? I mean, I like the Fifth Doctor stuff, really, so it's a bit hard for me to pick. I'm going to have a quick look over here, just to have a look. That's it. Renaissance of the Daleks. Don't like that one. That's by Christopher H. Bidmead. Sixth Doctor. What Sixth Doctor audios don't I like? It's wrong to say I don't like. I don't know for Colin. I'm sure there is one. Maybe... I really can't think of a Colin story what I'm not too keen on. I'm going to have to look on the Colin page now, because that's really stumped me. So let's go on the old Colin page and have a look. What releases of Colin do I'm not too keen on? Oh, that's it. I think it's... What is it? The Spaceport of Fear. I can't get into that story at all. Seventh Doctor, I'd probably say A Life of Crime. Not too keen on that. McGann, I'd say The Sonomancer from Doom Coalition. I can't get into that one. John Hurt, it's a bit wrong to say one of the John Hurt stories, but I'd probably say the first story in the 4th box set with John Hurt. I can't remember the title. It just seemed like a bit of a cliche Time War story. Ninth Doctor, can't really comment because we've only got Ravagers. That's the only Ninth Doctor story I've listened to. 10th Doctor, I'd say Cold Vengeance, and the 11th Doctor and 12th Doctor, I can't really comment because I haven't really listened to much of their stories on a Big Finish. So we've got a story by Tom. Story. I'm getting tongue-tied here. We've got a question by Tom Garb. Best season of the 4th Doctor Adventures, Big Finish. I would say it's either between Series 2, because it's with Mary Tam, and that's really special to have Mary Tam on Big Finish, and to think we only have the key to time with Mary Tam and those little stories. I think there's 7 stories in Series 2, so that's something quite special. And I love the Dalek contract in the final phase, and the Sands of Life, I think, is great. I love that story. Or Series 8, I'd say, because it sort of, if you've listened to that and then you listen to Dalek Universe, you're really in for a treat. So I'd say it's between those, but I'd probably say Series 2 is my favourite, because you've got Justice Jalxar with Jago and Lightfoot, and I love me some Jago and Lightfoot. What is your favorite 10th Doctor episode, and what is your favorite overall Doctor episode in classic and New Who era? Favorite 10th Doctor episode? That's difficult, really, because David Tennant's my childhood Doctor. He's the one I grew up with, so it's really hard to pick because I'm quite nostalgic for all of them. Even Fear Her and Love and Monsters, I've got a bit of a soft spot for. But I'd probably, I mean, I love the Library two-parter. I think that's amazing. But I love Tooth and Claw. Tooth and Claw is one of my favorite 10th Doctor stories. I just have a real soft spot for it. School Reunion, Girl in the Fireplace is another cracker. Human Nature, Family of Blood, that's another belter. But I'd have to say my favorite, Partners in Crime. I've watched that an ungodly amount. I can't tell you. I just absolutely adore Partners in Crime. But I'd say Waters of Mars. I think Waters of Mars is my favorite 10th Doctor episode because it's just so bleak and just a great bit of telly, isn't it? Waters of Mars. I think that's just a superb 10th Doctor story. As in, favorite overall Doctor episode for classic and New Who. Sea Devils. Sea Devils is my favorite of all time. I absolutely adore it. It's just got such a special meaning for me, the Sea Devils. And it's just a great story to show the Master and the Doctor's dynamic. I love that. It's probably the best showing that sort of chemistry between the third Doctor and Delgado. So yeah, I've got 16 people watching, which is cool. So if you can please like and share the stream, and if you're new to the channel, then please do subscribe, because there'll be plenty of more Doctor Who content. So I just thought I'd throw that in there in case you're not subscribed already, because we're on the road to 2K. I'd like to reach 2,000 subscribers this year so we can do a few more celebration videos to celebrate 10 years of the channel, really. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, then subscribe. Yeah. So yeah, let's get back to the questions before we do a little bit more housekeeping stuff. So we've got another question by Pitch Call Black here. My mouse is froze, which is very annoying. There we go. Sorry, mouse. Would you rather listen to the worst Big Finished audio or eat the worst thing you've ever eaten? I mean, eating something what's been really bad. I mean, eating those 11-year-old Dalek cookies, that was pretty bad. Or listen to the worst Big Finish. I mean, I've had food poisoning before. So I'd say listen to the worst Big Finish, because if it's only like an hour, then it's not going to be like a couple of days of being ill from food poisoning. So I'd say worst Big Finish for that. I got a question by Tom Garp. If I can get it, my mouse is absolutely being shocking. It keeps freezing, which is very annoying. So this is kind of crazy. Get away. I need the mouse. Oh dear, what's going on here? Comments. There we go. What Doctor Who new box set are you anticipating the most next year? I'm quite excited for the 5th Doctor 40 box set to celebrate 40 years of the 5th Doctor. Or that being said, the 3rd Doctor, because of the new format, it means we can probably get some 6-part Pertwee stories, 3rd Doctor stories. So I'd say between those two, really. What is your least favourite era of Doctor Who? My least favourite era. Oh gosh, I feel really bad saying this because I like all of it. But I think in terms of the most I revisit, I'd probably say the era I revisit the least is probably Jodie's. I think she's a good Doctor. I think that there are some good stories in there, like Rosa, Haunting of Villa Diodati. What other stories do I like? The Witchfinders. And I quite like the Ghost Monument as well. And Spyfall's a good one. But yeah, I'd say Jodie's sort of the era I revisit the least. So I guess by default that's my least favorite. Not that she's a bad Doctor. I'm quite excited for Series 13, but I'd probably say the 13th Doctor. No Jodie hate here. Tom Garb, out of the black and white seasons, which is your favorite and worst? I think my favorite is probably season 5, because I really like the Base Under Siege stories with Troughton. I think that is just a wonderful series, with the Web of Fear, Enemy of the World, Fury from the Deep, Tomb of the Sidemen, great. And probably my least favorite would be, I don't. Oh, is that wrong? It's wrong to say season 6 because I'm not. I don't really get the hype for season 6. I feel like this is a bit of a hot take. I'm not a huge fan of the Dominators. I don't think anyone's a huge fan of the Dominators. The Mind Robber, I'm not too keen on. I'll be honest. That's one story I want to love. I just can't. The Invasion I like. I think that's my favorite Troughton story. What else we got in that? Space Pirates, that's pretty enough. But then you got the War Games, that's a good one. And Seed of Death, that's quite good. Maybe what is my least favorite? I guess maybe season 1. Maybe that's probably my least favorite. But then I feel really sacrilegious saying that because it's the first series of Doctor Who. So, yeah, 60C is a bit different because it's kind of a bit of a mixed bag, really, because you get some really good stories, and then you get some bit of a clangers, really. But I'd say that really. Right, so what else have we got? David Mullen, I dare you to watch your first ever YouTube video and reflect on them. There's such a huge difference to where you are now. Well, that's good. I'm glad that my videos have hopefully improved over the past 10 years. We'll do that at the end. We'll react to my first YouTube video at the end. So stick around till the end, I guess, to watch that. Tom Garb, top 5 best films. Let's go. I don't really watch films, but I'd say the Lord of the Rings trilogy I really like. What else? Hot Fuzz, I think that's a good film. Chicken Run, I like Chicken Run. That's a good one. So Hot Fuzz, Lord of the Rings, Chicken Run. These are quite a bizarre bunch of films. What other films? I can't think. Because I don't really watch films. But I'd say those are my top 3. I don't know if I can do top 5. I mean, I guess Lord of the Rings takes up 3 spaces because they're 3 films. So, yeah. Mr. Bonk Cactus, it's coming home. It's coming home. Pertwee's coming home. Yeah, he's here. He's doing a live stream. David Mullen, received my Abominable Snowman set. Absolutely stunning in person. The promotion and videos don't do the full thing justice. You have to see it to appreciate how superb it is. I think that's a really good set, and it's sold out. So if you've missed it out, then you might have to be looking on eBay now. Yeah. So I think that it's a good set. It's a great little way to get the fur coat Troughton. It's the only way to get a fur coat Troughton figure. So yeah, and the TARDIS is what I've wanted from the second Doctor TARDIS from the beginning, really, to have the sign the other way around instead of the War Games TARDIS. I think that it's much more of a unique oddity of a TARDIS. So I really, really like that set. So if you missed out, then do try and find it, 'cause it's a good set, and it's a nice little way of getting a great version of the Troughton. This is a very interesting question by Pitchcore Black. Do you think bees would make a good hairdresser since they know how to use a honeycomb? I guess so. But do bees have hair? That is the other question. Do bees have hair? Congrats on the anniversary. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been 10 years. I didn't think I would be here 10 years from when I started, but here we are, because you can't predict YouTube at all. Look forward to a stream. Well, I hope you're enjoying it, Brian, so far. We've been going for nearly 20 minutes. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Rob Macaulay, I hope we get more prototype figures like the Troughton in future. Well, I've recently, I say today, I've bought a prototype figure. Hopefully it is a prototype figure. I will be doing if it is a prototype figure, there will be a video on it. If not, then it's not a prototype figure. But that's all I say. But yeah, the prototype figures, I think we are going to see some more prototypes, because if you look back in 2012, there was an image of prototype Doctor Who figures, and the Invasion of the Dinosaurs third Doctor's on there. We have that figure now. The Terror of the Zygons fourth Doctor. We have that figure now. We're still waiting for the Yeti and the Wheel in Space Cyberman. Hopefully that can be in like an Enemies of the second Doctor set. That would be really superb. I would love that. And I believe we're getting a 5 Doctor set this year, which hopefully will include Richard Hurndall's first Doctor. That will be pretty epic to have a Richard Hernall figure, and we can display him with some pineapple chunks, and have him eating some pineapple on your figure shelf. But I think as well, the Centerites, they're coming out this year, because of the leaked image. I'm not spoiling anything. It's out there. And they were a prototype from years back. So I think we're going to see some more prototypes what we didn't see released back in the day. Doctor Adventures. What's been your highlight of 10 years as Pertweesmith11? I think meeting people. I think making friends. I think that is such a great way, because obviously the people I do the live streams with, like James and Luke, I've met through doing YouTube, and they're really good friends. So I feel like that's one of the highlights. You meet so many amazing people, so many wonderfully creative, talented people on this platform. And I think that it's great. And I think one of the highlights, I know this might sound soppy, but I think when people message you saying that they really enjoy your videos and you've helped them through difficult times, I think that's when it sort of becomes a big thing, really. And then when you go to Comic-Con and people stop you and want a photo with you, when quite frankly all you're doing is making a daft old video about your opinion, and hopefully people like it. So I think that's sort of the highlight, really, because it's just seeing how your little videos affect people in the grand scheme of things, and to know that you can comfort. And I think that seems quite a soppy answer, but I think for that, really, to help people. And I think that's the whole point of a review, to help people want, whether to get something or not, but to help people through difficult, challenging times. I think that's really heartwarming. And it makes it worthwhile when you haven't got the motivation to make videos, and then you realize that people kind of depend on you is really cool. That might sound like a really soppy, daft answer, but I think that's one of the highlights, really. And also getting to talk about Doctor Who, that's always a highlight, to have a platform to voice an opinion, and just talk about Doctor Who. I think that's great, really, because otherwise I'll drive myself mad, because I wouldn't have a sort of an out place to say my opinion on random things. So Aidan Hannon, what's your most re-listened audio? Ooh, probably Dark Eyes. I've listened to that quite a lot, especially the first box set. I love that. Where are we? There we go. Geeky Jess, happy 10 years question. Happy 10 years. Thank you. Question. What was the reason you started YouTube? I'm glad you did. To be fair, I enjoy your content. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. See, this is why we do YouTube, to get lovely comments like this. I started because it was in the summer holidays and I needed something to do, and I was quite bored, and I'd always wanted to do YouTube. I think I wanted to do YouTube back in 2008, and as you'll see later, watching 2011 me, and then to think that I'd do it a couple of years early, I'd just be like a terrible fetus. So I think it was just out of sheer boredom and just something to occupy myself over the summer holidays, and it's just one of those things that sort of stuck, really. So that's why I've sort of done YouTube, really. Triumph for Davros is now my favorite Big Finish cover. It is a very good cover, isn't it? I think the Dalek Universe covers in general are just absolutely superb. I think they're absolutely incredible. Terry be looking sexy. Oh yeah, Terry Malloy. What a sexy man. What a sexy man indeed. Where are we? My mouse keeps glitching. I apologize. Where are we? Since it came out in the year you started YouTube, thoughts on Series 6 with Matt Smith and your favorite and least favorite episode? Gosh, I quite like Series 6. It's a, you've got that fantastic opening two-parter, The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. I think that is one of the best episodes of New Who. Just that jaw-dropping moment of seeing the 11th Doctor regenerate on the beach, or is it the 11th Doctor? You won't get any spoilers from me, but you probably all know what happens in that. So yeah, I love that. And for me, I was so attached to the 11th Doctor, hence the channel name. So I'm a great 11th Doctor fan. What else stories? We've got The Doctor's Wife. That's a wonderfully magical story. I'd love to see a Target novelization of that story. Then you've got you've got Curse of the Black Spot, which I think's okay. It's okay. I haven't revisited it in a long time, but I remember thinking it's okay. And then what else have you got in Series 6? You've got The Flesh two-parter, which I don't think needs to be a two-parter. I need to revisit it, but I just don't know. I just think it kind of drags, and you've got that weird flesh thing. I can't remember, but the weird head and weird crazy chicken flesh creature at the end. It's all pretty terrifying. Then you have like Good Man Goes to War. That's pretty good. That's a very good episode revealing River. Then Let's Kill Hitler. I think it's a bit of a guilty pleasure. I don't mind it. I don't really see the hate. And then you've got Night Terrors. I think it's fantastic. I love Mark Gatiss's Doctor Who stories. I'm a big fan of Mark Gatiss's writing. What else have you got after that? I think, is it like God Complex? God Complex is wonderful. I think that's a good two-parter. Well, not two-parter. Good story. And then you have, what else have you got? The Girl Who Waited. I'm not too keen on that story personally. I know a lot of people love it, but that's one of the stories I can't get into. I'm not a huge fan of Dr. Light stories. That's one thing I found out. I'm not too keen on Dr. Light stories. Yeah, and then you have Closing Time. I think it's a nice little bit of fluff. Killing the Cybermen with Love, I do not like, but I think that it's just a little bit of fun. It's one of those sort of feel-good episodes, really. Then The Wedding of River Song. Are you ready? I like it. I think it's good. I mean, if you look at it and compared to most series finales, then yeah, it might look a bit naff, but it's better than the Battle of the Coalsaw. So I quite like it. I think as a standalone episode, I think that it's good. I quite like The Wedding of River Song. So those are my thoughts on Series 6. The stylish one. I remember DWM pointing out some articles about Inferno, that there could be a universe where Doctor Who was cancelled after Inferno. Yeah, that is terrifying. That is a terrifying thought, not to have Doctor Who after Inferno, because season 6 of Doctor Who was getting such not bad viewing figures, but it was sort of starting to dwindle. And season 7 was basically make or break for Doctor Who. So John Pertwee had a tough job, and Barry Letts and Terrence Dix and Derek Sherwin had such a tough job to revitalize and change Doctor Who, and they did. And that's why season 7 feels such a unique series, and is one of my favorite seasons of Doctor Who of all time. I think that it's a wonderful season. Thoughts on this month's DWM cover that's behind you? Yeah, it's very sexy. It's Pertwee, Sea Devil, and Lynx on their summer holidays. I love it. I think it's great. It's absolutely marvelous. So yeah, it's one of my favorite Doctor Who magazine covers. I think that is an absolutely splendid cover. What else we got? I've been watching YouTube for 5 years and I don't make videos. Okay, maybe something will spark your imagination and you'll start making videos, because it's quite rewarding, especially when you get to talk to loads of other people. Is the worst Ninth Doctor release not the Ninth Doctor Chronicles? I don't know. I don't have the Ninth Doctor Chronicles, so I can't really judge it, and it would be unfair to judge Nick Briggs's Christopher Eccleston impression. Well, it was almost cancelled after season 6. Rumours started to occur that Nigel Keel's Quatermass would return to replace the show back in the day. I guess that makes sense why season 7 was sort of quite Quatermass. Yeah, so that makes sense, I guess. Mr. Bon Cactus, bugger me. Why is making a thumbnail so hard? I don't know. It's a bit of a challenge, isn't it, really? Making thumbnails, but there we go. Do you think Matt Smith will ever do Big Finish? And what's your favourite 7 Big Finish story? I think Matt Smith will do Big Finish at some point. I mean, I think he's busy doing Game of Thrones right now. I think it's a prequel. I mean, I'm watching Game of Thrones right now, which, by the way, it's very good. And I'm loving it. So no spoilers. I don't want to know. I know the last series is terrible, but no spoilers. But I think Matt Smith will do Big Finish. I think once they start to get sort of Karen Gillan involved, I think we'll get Matt Smith. Because I think maybe that'd be a nice little selling point for Matt Smith, that the whole team is back. The Ponds are back together doing Big Finish. I mean, Arthur Darvill's doing them, so yeah, it'd be quite nice just to have maybe 11th Doctor and Rory and River Song adventure box set. That'd be pretty cool. But Matt Smith will definitely do Big Finish. I think at some point. I think Matt Smith's probably more likely than Peter Capaldi right now. In terms of my favourite 7th Doctor Big Finish story, I would say favorite Big Finish story from McCoy. I quite like Gods and Monsters, but that relies quite heavily on the Black and White TARDIS arc. But I'd say in terms of McCoy, I quite like Fires of Vulcan. I think that's a absolutely stellar one. We Are the Daleks is a really good one, or the 7th Doctor New Adventures box set, Trial of a Time Machine. There's some really good McCoy stories. I'll probably get a brainwave of McCoy stories later on the live stream. Like, oh, that's another good story. Stylish one. To celebrate 10 years on YouTube, will you review Tales from New Earth? I thought about reviewing that, and yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I might listen. I mean, it won't be a review as like a standard review. I might just sit down and talk about does it really deserve the hate? So that might be a good little future video to talk about Tales from New Earth. So yeah, if people want to see Tales from New Earth review, comment down below, put it in the chat. So yeah, we've got 19 people watching now, which is great. So keep your questions coming in. So yeah, please do, if you haven't liked the stream, then please do like. I'm going to do all the little housekeeping now, so do proper like YouTube official things. So please, if you haven't liked the stream, then please do. Shows your love and support, and it pleases the YouTube gods and makes people discover the channel more, and we can grow a nice little community. So we can, do these little live streams and have more people in the chat and just talk all things Doctor Who. If you're not subscribed, then please do. It helps the channel, helps grow, because we're on the road to 2K. And we do various Doctor Who content. We do Big Finish, unboxings, collection updates, figure reviews, collection videos, and weekly live streams. And yeah, it's all good. There is also a super chat option. I mean, this might be me being a bit cheeky, but if you want to show a bit of support and feeling a bit generous tonight, then there is a super chat option. So if you want to donate a little bit of money to the channel, that'd be great, because all the money I get from YouTube goes back into the channel. It pays for this lovely equipment like this microphone. It's bought editing software and stuff to review on the channel. So if you're feeling generous, there is a super chat option. Don't have to, but yeah, it's there. But if you want to help the channel in other ways, then just like the live stream and put some questions in the chat. Be great. There we go. I'm not going to ask the super chat again, but there we go. There is that option there if you fancy it. How was YouTube like when you was a kid? Like, how drastically different the platform is now? The layout of YouTube's completely different. There used to be, I remember on the Batman March YouTube channel, was like a little discussion feed where he'd sort of tell you about his Doctor Who marathon he was doing, which was pretty cool to see how he was doing in his little marathon. But yeah, there's been quite a bit of change on the platform with obviously different regulations now. Yeah, it's a lot more fiddly to upload videos. Copyright's a completely different story now. Copyright is a lot more strict, so you've got to be really careful if you use music on your videos. So it's quite drastic, really, to see how it's sort of changed, and it'd be quite interesting to see what YouTube would be like in 10 years. Charles Edward, congrats on 10 years. Will you do an updated room tour? Maybe. I mean, I don't think my room's changed that much to do a room tour, but if people are that interested, then you can if you want. And when's the mug coming out? In terms of the mugs, I don't know. I don't know if I can find a little store to put them on and to sell them. But I would like to do the mugs at some point. Maybe I can get that all sorted for 2K, and hopefully find a little store to sell the mugs on. So that'll be very cool. I think Jodie is only good in historical stories, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's one thing what I admire about the Chibnall era is the sort of the historical story, like Rosa, sort of telling lesser known historical events and making them more public knowledge. I mean, I was lucky enough to know about Rosa Parks at school, but like Demons of the Punjab, was sort of the partition of, I think, Pakistan, isn't it? That story's all about. So I think, yeah, the historicals are a really good thing, and obviously the BBC are great at doing, period dramas. So they really excel when Doctor Who does that. I'm with you on season 6 being overrated, but I enjoy the Mind Robber and really dislike the Invasion. Well, we're opposite there. The Invasions are my favourite Troughton story. So there you go. Alfie S. Way, congrats on 10 years, Ben. Thank you, Alfie. Here's my question. Whose hairy legs did they Photoshop on John on that new Doctor Who magazine cover? Are they John's? If so, John's leg, as John's legs, shots, and probably Ian Levine. Or probably Ian Levine. I don't know whose legs they are. I mean, I'd like to think they're John's, but probably not. But yeah, whoever's legs they are, they've done a good job because they've given us that sexy cover. I love it. You could watch a pirated episode of Doctor Who back then. Yeah, you could. I mean, saying that Daily Motion, that was. I mean, I remember watching YouTube. I remember watching YouTube. Gosh, I'm getting brain farted. I remember watching classic Doctor Who on YouTube. I remember watching Day of the Daleks and the Daemons on YouTube, which was really mental. And you can't do that now. You really can't, because copyright is a big old thing. Oh, right, that's a little refreshment break. Doctor Who Home, congratulations on 10 years. That's a huge achievement. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm just finishing off Stop the Clock, and I'm wondering if you had to pick one story out of Doom Coalition, what's it going to be? Oh, in terms of Doom Coalition, my favourite story from Doom Coalition, I like Doom Coalition 3, but I'd say The Red Lady's really good, isn't it? I think that's a fantastic story. Great little Halloween listen. So I really, really love The Red Lady. So yeah, I'd say The Red Lady is probably my favourite of the Doom Coalition saga. What Doctor Who figure prototype would you most like to see? I'd say the Yeti. I think that the Yeti would be a wonderful thing to see be released, especially with the Abominable Snowman Troughton. We need it. So come on, character options. Give us a Yeti or a classic Silurian. But I don't think the prototype exists for that. But I think in terms of prototypes, I'd say the Yeti. Brian Smith, can you say what was your first ever televised Doctor Who story that made you fall in love with the series? Well, my first ever episode was Rose. So I'm a 2005 fan. So I'd say that. But I think I was pretty much hooked right from the get-go, because I remember all of Series 1 being broadcast. And I remember finishing Rose and turning to my dad going, I want to travel in that blue box so we can see next week's episode. So I'd say I've been a fan since Rose properly, but I think, yeah, by the end of Parting of the Ways, I was truly invested in the show, especially the regeneration of the Ninth Doctor. I remember being so upset because I didn't really understand regeneration, and I just wanted the silly Northern guy back. And little did I know that David Tennant would become the face of my childhood. So David Tennant plays quite a big part in that sense. But yeah, I'd say Rose was the episode what made me fall in love with the show. So that's always got quite a special place in my heart, really. Where are we? Where are we going? Oh, good old Kai. 10 years of YouTube and still gorgeous ever. How do you do it? Congratulations, mate. Well, thank you, Custorbus Fibster. Well, you've changed your name. I don't know. Got that good skincare routine, haven't I? But yeah. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate it. So where are we? I've lost where I am in the comments now. So this is great. Because I got distracted by Kai's question. Thank you. Where are we? Amelia Emerson, what do you think is the most underrated TARDIS team, both TV and Big Finish? Ooh, what's my Most underrated TARDIS team for TV. I'd say 12 and Bill are quite underrated. 12, Bill and Nardole. I think that they're really underrated. I would have loved to have a couple more series of those. I think that would be my new series pick personally for that. Because I think the 12th Doctor gets done a bit of dirty by fans, so I'm going to rep Capaldi and say 12 and Bill and Nardole or Nardole. In terms of classic Who, I'd say maybe 4th Doctor and Romana 1. I think that they're quite. People normally say Lila Ward, but I'd quite like those. But 3rd Doctor and Sarah, I think that's probably a combo. I think Sarah Jane works best with Pertwee. I think that Sarah's such more of a defined character. I feel like there's more of a inquisitive nature to Sarah with the 3rd Doctor. I feel like Sarah has a bit more of a sharpness to her with the 3rd Doctor. Like in Monster of the Paladin when she's confronting the Queen. You don't really get those sort of moments with the 4th Doctor, sadly. So I'd probably say ultimately 3rd Doctor and Sarah. Or maybe actually again 3rd Doctor and Liz. Liz is very underrated. So yeah, 3rd Doctor and Liz because season 7. But in terms of Big Finish, good question. For Big Finish, I'd say maybe 6th Doctor and Flip. I really like, but I'd probably say for Big Finish, I do quite like. What is it? I'm trying to think now. Oh, that stumped me in terms of Big Finish. But yeah, I'll probably have a brainwave thinking about that. I'm having a brain fart right now, live on the interweb. But yeah, Big Finish. I'm trying to think of the TARDIS teams now on Big Finish. I mean, 8th Doctor, Charlie and Careers, they're pretty underrated because often people think about just Charlie. But I'd say the 5th Doctor and Mark stuff, actually. I think that they're quite underrated as a TARDIS team because there's a nice little story arc in that sort of thing with the 5th Doctor dealing with loss and sort of Mark is sort of to deal with that. So I'd say the 5th Doctor and Mark is one of those. And again, my mouse is froze. This is very cool. Most anticipated History of the Daleks set. I'd say Day of the Daleks because it'd be great to have an actual gunmetal grey 3rd Doctor Dalek. So I look forward to that and having an accurate gold Dalek Chief, Supreme Dalek. So I'd say that. Does anyone think the Power of the Dalek set looks so bloody good? Yeah, it looks really good because we get an actual mutant scoop Dalek, which is incredibly exciting. So I'd say that is going to be quite an exciting set to get to have 2 more 60s Daleks. Dr. Ventures, good answer. Yeah, glad you liked my weird soppy answer. But yeah, thank you. Find the only copy of a missing Doctor Who story and the only copy of a Pertwee story never transmitted. I'd say Pertwee. It's got to be Pertwee. Hands down. Sorry, missing episodes, but Pertwee's going to win. Harry Williams Productions. Hey, Ben. Thoughts on Dalek Universe so far and your thoughts on the 3rd set with Davros? Dalek Universe. Big fan. Big fan of Dalek Universe. It's sort of been... Well, I'm just going to say this now. 2021 Big Finish is the Big Finish I've wanted for a long time. We've got Christopher Eccleston... But going back to Dalek Universe, it's the type of thing I've wanted them to do with David Tennant right from day one, for him to have his own sort of Dark Eyes box set. And that's sort of that because they're sort of thematically the same in a way, because obviously the whole Dark Eyes series is, well, the first box set in particular is the dealing of loss with Lucy. And sort of Dalek Universe has that with, the 10th Doctor's, in this special... era. So he's lost Donna, Martha, Rose. So he's a little bit downtrodden. And so it's similar in that regard. But yeah, in terms of stories, they're so good. The opening 2-parter, Buying Time and The Wrong Woman, I'm not going to spoil if you don't know. It is superb. The great twists and turns, Dalek Universe provides David Tennant with some of his best ever performances as the Doctor. Again, in the Trojan Dalek, another fantastic story. Honestly, Dalek Universe is like David Tennant never left the role. It's just shocking how much it's just like listening to a Lost TV 10th Doctor adventure. The whole sort of team within that, Anya Kingdom and Mark 7, are really great dynamic with the 10th Doctor. And then you've got some really great sort of character sort of pieces in there with the House of Kingdom exploring more of Anya. And then you have Cycles of Destruction sort of expanding on Mark 7. And then you've got a nice little character piece exploring the dynamic of the 10th Doctor and Anya Kingdom in The Lost, because they have quite an interesting dynamic. Because obviously, if you've listened to the 4th Doctor Series 8, it sort of plays into why the 10th Doctor is a little bit on edge with Anya, that he can't quite trust her. But you don't need to listen to the 4th Doctor Series 8 to enjoy Dalek Universe. It just helps enhance you and enriches the experience, really. So I'm a big fan of Dalek Universe, and I'd say out of Dalek Universe and the 9th Doctor Ravagers, I'd say Dalek Universe is your best bet out of those two, personally. On the third set with Davros, I'm very excited for the third box set, because it's everything's sort of coming to a head, and we're finally going to get Daleks in Dalek Universe, because so far in Dalek Universe it's been pretty light of Daleks, and I guess that helps build their fear factor, really, within the series. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and to have David Tennant and Terry Malloy playing the 10th Doctor and Davros, that's going to be quite exciting to hear. Great show, by the way. Thank you. Glad you're enjoying the live stream. Best box set of Jago and Lightfoot. Well, me and Luke are doing a Jago and Lightfoot live stream, I think on Friday, where we'll be doing a tier list of the Jago and Lightfoot episode box sets. So because you're here and I'm very nice, I will say my favorite Jago and Lightfoot box set is Series 2. With Jago and Lightfoot and Vampires. I think that is a tremendous box set. So yeah, Series 2 is my favorite of the set, really. What else we got? The Flesh two-parter from Series 6 is next to a lifeless modern copycat of Fear from the Deep. Yeah, I can see that. Tom Garb, which animation of Hartnell would you like next? I would say Dalek Master Plan, but I think that's a bit too ambitious. But I would like to see Marco Polo, just so we can complete season 1, and it's a really good story. But in terms of, I think probably one what's viable at this current moment in time, I would say The Savages. I think that's quite an underrated story, and I think that story would get quite a newer reappraisal if that was animated. Kai Martin, what's your opinion on Turn Left and Midnight? Yeah, Turn Left. I mean, I know I said earlier in the live stream that I'm not a huge fan of Dr. Light episodes, but that's an exception. I love it because, it's Donna and her family, and it's Wilf, and I love Bernard Cribbins, so I really adore Bernard Cribbins. So yeah, Turn Left, such a wonderful sort of celebration of the Russell T Davies era, isn't it? It's such a, I guess it's sort of what Love and Monsters is really to Russell, with it sort of being quite self-indulgent. But I think by the time Series 4 came around, it's allowed to be indulgent. So I really like Turn Left. Midnight, I think, is a great sort of claustrophobic story. David Tennant, again, fantastic performance. And I love that we don't know what the Midnight entity is. And I think that makes it even more creepy. And I think horror works best when you you don't show it, that it's kept in the shadows. It's left to your imagination. I know it's a bit of a cop-out, but it sort of makes it even more scary because it's in your imagination. So Midnight is a great story. Favorite YouTube channels? Are we talking Doctor Who or just general YouTube channels that I watch? But my favorite Doctor Who channel, my favorite Doctor Who YouTube channel, probably Batman March. He's the person who probably inspired my generation of people on YouTube. So I'd say that Batman March is my favorite. Doctor Who YouTube channel. In terms of non-Doctor Who, I've become quite addicted to a YouTube channel called Rate My Takeaway, where it's just sort of a person who looks like Peter Kay, and he just goes all around the country like looking at takeaways. I don't know why, but I just find myself really enjoying it. But then again, I do quite like Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link. I do quite enjoy those two. What is your favorite pure historical? Gosh, can I be really cheeky and say a Big Finish story? And I'm going to say the Peterloo Massacre with the Fifth Doctor. And there's a question about the Fifth Doctor, so this is a nice little segue. See, I'm being clever here. But yeah, Peterloo Massacre, I think it's a fantastic, pure historical, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful story. But in terms of TV, I would say, in terms of pure historical, maybe the Aztecs. I think that's a really good historical. So I'd say between those two, my favorite historical. Frontiers 101, greetings. First of all, congratulations on reaching a full decade on YouTube. When you say full decade, it just makes me feel really old. Also, what are your thoughts on Peter Davison as the Fifth Doctor? He's my personal favorite Doctor, by the way. I really like the Fifth Doctor. He's my favorite Doctor on Big Finish. Going back to the Peterloo Massacre, it was the audio what made me fell in love with the Fifth Doctor on audio. So I have a huge respect for that, and it made me sort of dive more into the Fifth Doctor audios. I think that he's such an interesting character, especially with what Big Finish have done with the Fifth Doctor. Again, in the Mark sort of set of stories, in Tartarus, Interstitial, Feast of Fear, Warzone Conversion, Time Apart, Madquake, and Fin Time, and the upcoming box set Lost Resort. With that, dealing with that sort of loss of Adric and that sort of plague, that sort of plaguing his mind and haunting him. So I like the Big Finisher actually exploring that, and I like the Fifth Doctor. I think that the Fifth Doctor works best in the most bleak and dire stories, like the Cage on Drazani. It's a very bleak story, and because the Fifth Doctor is quite an innocent Doctor. He's not a Doctor what will dive headfirst into danger. He'll see sort of the argument happen, then he'll go, by the way, I have a solution. Whereas if you have, a Doctor like the Third Doctor, like, get out of my way, I'm going to sort this problem out right now. So yeah, I like that the Fifth Doctor is a little bit more timid and a bit more vulnerable, that he wears his heart on his sleeve and he's not scared to admit fear and to admit defeat. So I like that vulnerable nature of the Fifth Doctor, and I feel like people don't realize how funny the Fifth Doctor is, but he's got a great little sardonic wit to him. The stylish one, thoughts on the new Torchwood story for the 15th anniversary. Is that the glorious Sontaran War? I'm very tempted to pick up that Yanto and the Sontarans. That's going to be really cool. Well, Sontaran, I think, is on the cover. I'm definitely going to be checking that one out eventually. I may even review it because it does look quite cool. Because I haven't picked up a Torchwood release since Free Monkeys. I'm quite selective on the Torchwood releases. So yeah, I'm quite excited to get that one. That's definitely going to be a purchase. Mr. Bonkcactus, quick question for you, Ben. Have you thought about looking on OBS or Streamlabs for recording and streaming? Yes, I have used OBS and Streamlabs on. I tried it on a live stream. I think the 9th Doctor Ravages one, where we had a nice little layout of like the TARDIS, and we played the trailer in there. It was all really cool, and it was great. Only when I watched it back, I realized that the audio sounded very tinny, and that wasn't too great. So I would like to revisit OBS and Streamlabs, but I need to sort of play around with the audio to see where I went wrong with that, really. But yeah, I definitely would like to revisit it, because StreamYard's great. It does the basics for streaming. Because back when I first started doing these live streams, it was Google Hangouts, but Google Hangouts is no more. So I'm using StreamYard until I can figure out where I went wrong with OBS and Streamlabs. Brian Smith, congratulations on 10 years, Ben. Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate it. Would you say the Ninth Doctor has the best Dalek stories? In my opinion, he does. And absolutely adore both Dalek and Bad Wolf and Parting the Ways. Yeah, I'd say, yeah. I mean, it hurts. I mean, saying that though, Troughton has some really good Dalek stories, but I think for sentimental reasons, it's got to be Eccleston. You can't beat Dalek and Bad Wolf and Parting the Ways. Dalek, we learn of how dangerous one Dalek is, and then you get to the end of Bad Wolf, and you have a whole armada of Daleks. That's when it really has a fear factor of the Daleks. It sells that there are thousands, if not millions, of Daleks. We've seen what one Dalek can do. This is going to be trouble for the Doctor. So, yeah, I'd agree. Ninth Doctor has the best Dalek stories. But I'd say close second, and rather fittingly, Second Doctor, because Power of the Daleks is a fantastic story. And Evil of the Daleks is another good one. And I'm very excited about the animation. Ooh, there we go. Nice bit of cup of tea there. A stylish one. Big Finish must feel a bit estranged by Peter Capaldi's comments. I know that he was referring to BBC radio drama, but still, yes. If you don't know, Capaldi dropped a bit of shade on the old radio drama because it's not very rock and roll and a bit glamorous. Yeah, I mean, I've done a bit of radio at uni, and I quite like it, actually. There's something quite nice about recording radio drama. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I see what he means about radio, because you don't get to dress up in like lovely costume. You're just given a script, and you have to use your voice to portray your physicality as a character and all that sort of stuff. So I guess radio is quite a luxury, really. I quite like radio. But yeah, hopefully, Big Finish can sway Capaldi around by going, look, we do these wonderful lunches. Why don't you try them, Peter? So there we go. 10 years, Isaac Whittaker Dakin, 10 years on, and your replacement's now a dandy and a clown. Yeah, it's regeneration really is a lottery. A stylish one. I'd say Six and Charlie is ridiculously underrated TARDIS team. You see, I've not listened to much of the Sixth Doctor and Charlie stuff. I've only listened to a couple of them. I haven't listened to all of them. I really should. Maybe that could be a nice little video project, video series to look at the Sixth Doctor and Charlie adventures. So, yeah, I mean, I can see why, because obviously people remember Charlie for the Eighth Doctor, which is always cool. But yeah, I can see why that's quite an underrated TARDIS team. Geeky Jess, if you could choose a modern 05 present companion to accompany the Third Doctor on some adventures, who would you choose? Oh, I mean, we've had a Third Doctor and Jackie Tyler story. Yeah, that was an experience. But in terms of companions I'd like to see with the Third Doctor, I feel like the Third Doctor and Donna would be quite an interesting sort of combo, because I feel like the Third Doctor can be quite blunt and sassy, and I feel like Donna would give him a bit of sass back. So I'd quite like that. Quite like to see that, actually. Yeah, Third Doctor and Donna, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Or Martha. Martha would fit the Third Doctor quite well, because obviously she works at UNIT already. Well, UNIT in the future, I should say. But yeah, I'd say Donna, actually. I think Donna would be quite an entertaining one to experience with the Third Doctor. Stylish one. Would you like River to meet the Second Doctor, since she's met all the other classic Doctors, and they could easily pop her into Beyond the Wall games without breaking canon? Yes. I guess, yeah, they could do that. They could put River Song in Beyond the War games. But I probably say the Second Doctor is probably more likely to appear in a Diary of a River Song box set, much like how the Third Doctor and I guess all the other Doctors have appeared in that series. Or maybe actually get a full adventure with her and David Bradley, because we only had I don't think they met in that Diary of a Song series 6 box set. So maybe that could be like a black and white. Well, maybe we could have the Second Doctor and River Song in the land of fiction. That'd be quite a cool story to have. Pitchable Black, great stream. Thank you. Glad you're enjoying the stream. It makes me feel like I'm doing a good job because I'm a little bit nervous doing this because I'm on my own. But I know we've got somebody to bounce off, but I'm bouncing off your questions. So keep your questions coming in. We've been going for an hour, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it really. Stylish one, Dark Eyes or Doom Coalition, both as a series or individual box sets versus box sets. That's an easy one. Dark Eyes. I'm more of a Dark Eyes fan. That was such a big release for me when I was getting into Big Finish. And Doom Coalition, I think Doom Coalition has a lot of filler, personally. So I prefer Dark Eyes just because the first box set is just some of the best Big Finish I have ever experienced. The Great War, The Fugitive, X and Tangled Web, X and the Daleks. 4 amazing stories. I mean, the first Doom Coalition box set does rival it up until the Red Lady, and then it sort of goes downhill. But then box set 3 does rise up to put Doom Coalition in a bit of a better place. But Doom Coalition 2, that's a nasty box set. I think that's one of my my least favorite Big Finish box sets of all time. I just don't like it at all. Gary B, now the evil movie Daleks is coming out, there is no excuse for them not to do Marco Polo or the Crusades. The Crusades is a weird one because they've said about the costume changes being a bit too much for them to do, and I guess the Highlanders as well has been another one where they've been like, well, it's a lot of tartan. Because I think if you've noticed in some of the recent animations, Pat Troughton's trousers aren't checked. So we don't have the classic Second Doctor trousers because of animating check trousers. That's why in the Power of the Dalek Special Edition, they aren't your traditional Patrick Troughton trousers. So we've got Troughton Trousergate there. But I think Marco Polo definitely should be done. And I guess as well, with the animations being done as well, it makes the collection box that's more viable because I would love to have a 60s collection box set released at some point. Hopefully this year, that would be lovely. And I think, for 2023 to have Marco Polo and it be done in like a collection box set would be really stunning. So I really want to get Marco Polo, and just to say that we have the first ever season of Doctor Who on our shelves would be a chef's kiss. But then again, Marco Polo is probably the most likely one to be found because, again, back in 2013, we had the rumor of the Web of Fear, Enemy of the World on Marco Polo, but we haven't heard of any more about Marco Polo. So who knows? Who knows what's happening with Marco Polo? But yeah, again, the Crusades is one what you think is an obvious one as well because it completes season 2. I'm sure there are ways around it. Maybe just animate the first, the 2 episodes what are missing. Because I know that there is a habit now of animate, like the Faceless ones, animating all the story, and I guess Evil of the Daleks is doing exactly the same as that. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see with all that. Again, my mouse is froze. Haha, this is scary. Where are we? There we go. How would you feel if Bernard Cribbins returned to Big Finish as Arnold Corn instead of Wilf? Is he from what's the story? Horror of Glam Rock. Because that'd be quite interesting to see him return. That'd be quite interesting to see him return if it is from Horror of Glam Rock. What are the best Doctor Who ghost stories? Under the Lake Before the Flood. I really like that. I really like that ghost story. Hyde's quite creepy, isn't it? Up until you get to sort of a love story. That's when it goes a little bit downhill. Ghost Walk by Big Finish. That's quite a good little anthology release in a way, with a sort of a ghost tour. Night Thoughts. That's a good little haunting story. I think there's a one in the 7th Doctor New Adventures box at the last story. I think it's called long night or something like that, something along the lines like that, and that's got a few jump scares in there, so that's quite a good haunting ghost story. Or Ghost in the Machine, that's quite a creepy concept behind it. Or another one what's quite haunting is The No Place, a 10th Doctor and Donna and Wilf story in Sylvia, because it's basically Doctor Who does Most Haunted, and it's a funny, but it's got a few jump scares in there, so it's a good one. It's an enjoyable one. Kai Martin, David Tennant, Catherine Tate, Bernard Cribbins are my absolute favourite in Doctor Who. Absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah, I absolutely love that. They are some good people. Do enjoy them. What else we got? If you had, where are we? I'm losing myself in the chat. This is great because my mouse keeps freezing. Have you seen that fan-made cover for a fake torture story of Owen and a faux Marcy go to a club? Did somebody say faux Marcy? Yeah, I have. That's a really iconic cover, and I hope Big Finish get on that idea because the faux Marcy need to be on Big Finish. If you had to take 5 stories to a desert island, including audio, which would they be? Oh, I mean, I guess a box set counts as one story. I'd say the Sea Devils. I'm taking that. I'm taking the Sea Devils because why not? It's a good one. I'd say, what else would I take? I would take Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways because, it's a really good story. I would take Wilderness in Time and the Doctor Falls. And I would take I think that's free, isn't it? That's free. The 11th hour. I'll take the 11th hour. And I'll take me a Tom Baker, I think. I would take for Tom Baker. What Tom Baker story should I take? That is a good question. So I do like me some Tom Baker. I would take maybe. Ooh. I would take for Tom Baker. Oh, Tom Baker. What would I take? City of Death. I'll take City of Death. Yeah, I didn't take any Big Finish, sadly. But yeah, I'll take those 5. Tom Garb, any particular Target novels you would like? Ever tried audio versions of a Target? In terms of particular, I quite like the Abominable Snowman Target book. I like the Rose Target book. The Day of the Doctor Target book's great. I haven't read the Dalek book yet. And the Cave Monsters, I think that's probably my favorite Target book ever. Have you ever tried the audio version of the Target novels? Back in the day when they did the Pandorica CD releases with the figures, they had the Target books. I listened to, I think, the Cave Monsters through that. I think Caroline John read that, and that was pretty enjoyable. So I enjoyed that. But I don't tend to get the audio novels of the Target books because this might be a bit controversial, but I've basically got them on the shelf already. I have the DVD. So yeah, for me to get a Target book, it has to be very different from the TV story. I mean, I've heard good things about the Horror of Fang Rock Target book, so I'd like to get that to see how good that is actually. So yeah. Where are we in the comments? Oh gosh, this is an interesting question. Why do you not like Legacy of Time? Surely something like Sacrifice of Joe Grant was particularly made for you. See, Sacrifice of Joe Grant is my favorite from that box set, but I don't really think the Legacy of Time was worth the hype personally. I think that it was sort of a very mixed bag. I haven't revisited it for about 2 years since it came out. So yeah, I just don't really like it personally. I wasn't too keen on Lies and Ruin. The countermeasure story was all right. I I thought the last story was a little bit messy. It's basically Sirens of Time, but done on a bigger scale. And Sirens of Time, it's an okay story, but I think Sacrifice of Joe Grant was the standout of that box set. It just was a bit of a disappointing release, personally. I would like to revisit it. I might do a review, and then I probably can articulate my opinion better on it because it'd be fresh in my mind. Geeky Jess, best Doctor Who book that's not a Target book. Oh gosh, have I got the book here? I mean, it's not really a Doctor. Well, it is a Doctor Who book, but it's not like your traditional Doctor Who storybook. This book, Monsters and Villains. This, as a kid getting into Doctor Who, this was the Bible because it taught you all about classic monsters. That's really fitting, isn't it? I turned to the Sea Devil and Silurian page, so yeah, you can definitely tell what my favorite page to look at was as a kid. But yeah, I think that as a kid getting into Doctor Who was like a Bible to learn about all the Dalek and Cybermen stories up until then, and the behind the scenes photos of Dalek. There we go. It was so cool to learn that there are all these lovely Dalek stories to discover, and seeing photos of classic Cybermen and just being really creeped out because that was my first proper look at Cybermen. But yeah, that's my favorite Doctor Who book, I guess, because it's just something so special. But to go into just general storybook, I would say Last of the Gadarene is a wonderful third Doctor book. It's a real love letter by Mark Gatiss to the Pertwee era. That is a wonderful. You've got the third Doctor flying a Spitfire. If that doesn't sell that book, I don't know what will. It's a really good book. I really enjoy that one. If you could rank season 7, how would it go? Oh, season 7. I would say, season 7. I can't pick season 7. It's blooming good. Oh gosh. In terms of season 7, I would say Ambassador of Death. I mean, season 7, there is no bad story. I would say Ambassador of Death. I would go Spearhead from Space. Then I would go Inferno, and then the Silurians. There we go. Those are. I mean, season 7. You're not going to go wrong with any of those, really. Where are we now? In the old thing. I keep losing my place in the chat because my mouse freezes, and then I'm like, I've lost where I am. Gosh. Oh, hello, Ethan. How are you? It's good to see you in the chat. Excellent choice. I'm glad that you like my picks of episodes. I love. I've gone all northern. I love the ceasefire in the Sea Devils. Yeah, that's a good moment. That's a really good iconic moment. That is. Who wouldn't want the Sea Devils? Exactly. Sea Devils are fantastic, and I look forward to having my Big Chief third Doctor from the Sea Devils very soon. My favorite Pertwee costume. I'm very excited from my favorite Pertwee story as well. So I'm really excited for that. Hi, Ben. Congrats on 10 years. Your channel is always a joy to listen to. Thank you, Ethan. Really appreciate that. And I really enjoyed your recent animation. It was lovely. My question would be, if you could choose any one missing serial to be returned from the archive, what would you choose? I guess I'd be a little bit of I think probably the most I guess it would be Dalek Masterplan, because we're probably never going to get Feast of Stephen, and it would just be good to have that whole chunk back. And I think that the Dalek Masterplan is the mother of all Hartnell stories, isn't it? It's that grand epic. It showed not only the scale and the ambition of 60s Doctor Who, but just the creativity for them to just go, yeah, let's do this big epic story told across 12 weeks. Let's do it. And I admire that. And I think 60s Doctor Who is probably the most ambitious the show has ever been. And I don't think it's ever been topped in terms of ambition. So I just admire the pluckiness and the bravery of 60s Doctor Who. So I'd say Dalek's Masterplan. I guess that's quite a cop-out answer, but there we go. Jargon Reviews. Hello, James. My good old Night Thoughts buddy. How are you? We're entering a whole new era of Big Finish. I feel which is why Legacy Time didn't really stand out for a lot of people. Stranded in Dalek Universe aims towards audience change. Yes, I think Legacy Time was more of a celebration of the old fan. Not saying that I'm an old fan, but there we go. Whereas I think this new Big Finish era, like you say, James, is sparking much joy, especially for our generation of fans, because it's Doctors what we grew up with are finally getting the proper Big Finish treatment, but we're actually Big Finish are catering for these Doctors, and we're getting that true treatment of Big Finish, so we can have your spare parts and Chimesmen like story with your David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston. Even the War Doctor Begins box set was so exciting because it's a very uncharted territory of a young War Doctor. And I think that's a real highlight for me of this year in terms of Big Finish. Where are we in the chat? Which of the audience changed and that expectations being deconstructed, taken time with character, the decision for Dalek Universe to thematically deal with Daleks rather than physically? Yeah, I think Dalek Universe tackles it well because of the sort of, it plays with the fear factor, that sort of ominous feel with, obviously the 10th Doctor all has that prior knowledge of what's coming in the Time War, doesn't he? He realizes the horror of the Daleks. So he sort of knows that the Daleks are burning the universe, and Dalek Universe 3 really looks like it is dealing with that colossal galactic war with the Daleks, with the Movellans and the humans. Yeah, Dalek Universe 3 is just going to be such an epic listen, and it's wrong to wish your life away, but I am so excited for October just because of that release. It's so excited. Crossovers are still popular out of time, but I don't think anyone is jumping to spend £50 on one anymore. Yeah, I think as well, Legacy of Time was such a pricey release, wasn't it? It was like 60 quid, wasn't it? So, I think Big Finish is definitely becoming more accessible to fans to experience these new stories, with having these bundles. So like the main range, I love the main range, but I can see where it wouldn't be very accessible for new listeners, not because there's, 200 odd stories, but the fact that you have to fork out either a 6 or 12-month subscription, and you might get a Doctor what you're not too keen on. So the idea of Big Finish now bundling for different Doctors. So if you're a fan of the 5th Doctor, you can get all the 5th Doctor releases. If you're not a fan of the McCoy stuff, then you can skip it. So I think that it's made a real good chance for people to get the content that they want, and they don't feel obliged to get stuff just because they want to get one story in a box set. So I think that they're doing it really well in terms of Big Finish with the sort of new scale of it all, really. Whereabouts are we in the chat? Again, I keep losing the older. Where are we? Top 3 cliffhangers from Old Who. Oh, I don't know if I could. See, this is the thing, being put on the spot and trying to pick your favorite cliffhangers is not cool. It's not great. I think Dalek Invasion of Earth, with the Dalek coming out of the water, is so cool. Any cliffhanger from the Sea Devils, I love. I think they're great. Remembrance of the Daleks is always a good one, and some from Tomb of the Cybermen. They're great. Who Books, hi, hello Who Books, how are you? Pitchcore Black, Monster and Villain is pure nostalgia for me. Yeah, it's a good book, isn't it? It's blooming lovely. I don't think anyone's asked you this, but what are your thoughts on Series 13 of Doctor Who? I'm intrigued by it. Can't really get excited too much about it yet because we don't really know much about it. But I'm excited. The format is really the thing what's got me excited about, because it seems like they're sort of paying attention to how sort of viewing habits have changed. If we look at stuff like what Disney are doing with the sort of the streaming platforms of like The Mandalorian, again, that's 8 episodes. It's sort of sifting away the filler episodes. Like Mandalorian does have a few little filler episodes, but it's sort of minor filler. Like you just enjoy the journey you're going on. And I think the problem what Series 12 had was you'd have these big revelation moments of a story like Fugitive of a Jadoon, then you'd have Praxis and Can You Hear Me, and you sort of lose all sight of the story arc. So I think by condensing it down to 8 episodes and having it done as one big story, hopefully cuts out that filler and your Praxis style episodes. I mean, if you like Praxis, I'm very sorry, but yeah, I think that it's just a good way of keeping the story arc going, because I'm not too keen on filler. TARDIS Guy 123. Hello, Luke. How are you, my old boy? Not a bad story in season 7. Yeah, there isn't. You don't think there's a bad story in the entire Pertwee era? That's true. There is no bad Pertwee story. The Pertwee era is the most consistent of all Doctor Who. Tom Garb, other than Doctor Who, what other sci-fi shows do you enjoy? I mean, it's not sci-fi, but I guess it's sort of fantasy. I would say Game of Thrones. I mean, I've probably become quite obsessed with it. I love it. I think that it's good. I've just finished Series 6 today, and I'm absolutely loving it. First 4 series in particular are just some of the best telly out there. You can see why there was so much hype around it. And I guess the time I started watching it, I didn't realize one of the people from it were going to be in Series 13, so it's just a weird coincidence. But yeah, I love Game of Thrones because it is this sort of big conspiracy about who is going to take the Iron Throne, because there's a lot of power play and a lot of fighting, and there's dragons, and dragons are cool, and yeah, it's a good show. It is a good show. But yeah, that's not really sci-fi, but I'd say that is a good one. First Doctor action figure you bought? My first ever Doctor action figure I bought was the Dalek Twin Pack, the Battle Pack with Rose. That was my first ever Doctor Who figure set, and Doctor Who figures to kickstart the collection. Was that Dalek Battle Pack, and yeah, got them Christmas Eve. Come Boxing Day, they were back at Toys R Us, because I think there was a whole problem with the 2005 Doctor Who figures, that everything was faulty. You know, the remote control Daleks, the eye stalk would fall out and you couldn't put it back in. So there had to be like a recall, and then one of the little Daleks from that set broke, in the sense that it wasn't remote control anymore. So that got sent back, but that was the first. First figure set I ever got. Sea Devil Lagoon, excellent answer. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not likely to come back, but we can hope. Yeah, Feast of Stevens probably the most unlikely one out there. So it'd be good to actually have the option of saying, right, I'm going to bring this back, because it's very unlikely to see it return. Who books? Which Troughton story would you like to see return? Mine is Power of the Daleks and the Highlanders. I think, yeah, Power of the Daleks would be a good one, because it's such a historic episode. It's the first Troughton episode, and it's a bit of history, isn't it? It's the history of the show. It's the first post-regeneration story. But I think the Troughton story, I think Fury from the Deep would be quite cool to see actually back. But I think for me, I mean, this might sound odd, but I quite like the Abominable Snowmen. I've had this weird obsession with it as a kid. And I think to actually have the location footage from Snowdon, I think it will be one of the most visually beautiful episodes from the 60s. So I'd say the Abominable Snowmen I'd like to see return, because I think it would just be just good to see, really, and to give that story a chance. And just to be a little bit different, just to not sound like you're a stuck record by picking, the stories what you'd all pick, really. What's your favorite Big Finish story ever? Mind the Skyman. If you've been asked this one, sorry. No, I've not been asked this, so you're the first person to ask this in this live stream. My favorite Big Finish is the Mega, which is a third Doctor Lost story. I believe it was going to be part of season 9. It feels very much like The Mind of Evil. It's a really good 6-parter. and I just really love it. I think that it's a really good story. The Skyman is a really good one. I mean, that whole War Master box set in particular is some of the best Doctor Who, isn't it? You can't go wrong with the War Master, can you? It's such a fantastic box set. Whereabouts are we in the old chat? I am losing myself in the chat. Oh gosh, I'm terrible. I'm losing my place in the chat. This is going great. Right, where are we? There we go. If we got Out of Time 4, who would you want paired with Tennant? Ooh, well, we've got McGann with In the Time Lord Victorious. So I mean, they didn't actually meet, but that would be quite cool to have Tennant and McGann actually. Well, the 10th Doctor and 8th Doctor meet. That would be really nice. But yeah, I would say for me, I'd quite like the 7th Doctor. I mean, I think somebody commented on one of my videos they'd love to see the 7th Doctor and 7th Doctor and the 10th Doctor. I think that'd be a really good thing with the Ice Warriors. Because I guess they're the next in line for iconic monsters in the show. So I'd quite like to have that, really. Yeah, 7th Doctor and 10th Doctor and some Ice Warriors. Can't go wrong with that. Got any conventions planned? I'm going to one on the weekend. I'm going to Devil's Weekend in 2 weeks. Okay. I mean, I'd like to have gone to that. But I think conventions for me are on a little bit of a question mark. I mean, I'd like to go to Wales Comic Con since that's a local convention. That's literally down the road from me. So I think that's probably, and that's in November, I think. So I think that's probably the earliest I'll do a convention. But I guess I'll just have to wait to get my second vaccine before I start contemplating that. But I hope you have a good time at Devil's Weekend. I'm sure it'll be a blast because the guest list looks insane. You know, with basically the Big Finish Third Doctor team. I'd like to meet those guys. That's okay. I'm not a fan of Praxis. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Praxis. I can't. I tried rewatching it earlier this year, and I just couldn't watch it. I'm very sorry. I just don't like Praxis. Thoughts on Sarah Jane Adventure Series 5? I can't remember it. I mean, it's going to sound really mean, but I sort of fell out of love with the Sarah Jane Adventures in Series 5. Like, I still watched it, but it wasn't the show what, I wasn't too keen on this sort of Series 5 stuff, so I can't really remember. I think I started to drift in Series 4. But I did watch all the episodes, but I think Series 5, I don't really remember too much about, I'll be honest. I remember watching Sky and thinking it was all right, but I genuinely can't remember much about it, to be honest. So, yeah, I mean, I still need to get the Sarah Jane Adventures on DVD. I mean, I've got the first series on DVD, but the others I don't have because I'm still hoping it will go on iPlayer. Where are we? I'm really hoping that the Timeless Children gets expanded upon, as I feel like a 50-minute cliffhanger rather than a series finale. Yeah, Timeless Children, if you're not a fan of it, it will probably be retconned by the next showrunner, like Moffat did with the Time War. But yeah, I think we all hope that it's the Master just going, haha, I pulled a prank on you, Doctor. But we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully there is a grand plan. Maybe it will tie into the 60th anniversary. I mean, a lot of people say, that we're getting a 60th anniversary. Nothing's been confirmed. It's just us Doctor Who fans assuming that we're getting something. So, yeah. Stylish one. Favorite Cyberman design? The Invasion. I love the Invasion Cybermen. I mean, I guess it's good that I like them because they're practically on every Big Finish cover. Yeah, they're my favorite. I think they're the most iconic to me. They're just so striking. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Invasion Cybermen. They're just the most iconic for me. Thoughts on the Amazing Dalek Universe 3 individual story cover art? It looks insane, doesn't it? It's some of the best Big Finish cover art out there. It's just absolutely mind blowing. I'm a big fan of, I think, the second story, is it Dalek Defense? I think that looks insane. And then the Triumph of Davros. Oh, it just looks absolutely stunning. It's so good. Yeah, I'm really excited. Dalek Universe is definitely the big blockbuster audio of the year. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. It's insane. I mean, just look at the cover art. I mean, it just sells the release straight away. So yeah, please keep posting your comments because we're nearly caught up with the chat now, which is nice. But yeah, let's keep the questions rolling in. Yeah, we've been going for an hour and a half now, which is all good and stuff. Geeky Jess, if you had access to the TARDIS, where would you go and why? Where would I like to go? I'd quite like to go to a concert, like a Red Rocks concert back in like 2012. That would be really sick because I think that's one of my I'd like to go to a concert, but I think I'd love to go to like Longleat 1983 and go to like one of like the first Doctor Who like major conventions and meet Pertwee. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I guess that's my inner fan speaking. But where I'd like to go in terms of actual, maybe the future. I'd like to go to the future to see how civilization's doing, to see if we survive this hell what we're in right now. But yeah, I'd quite like to go to the future to see how we've sort of progressed as a society. I think the past is a dangerous place, because there's all these strange diseases, and I don't quite fancy reliving the Ark and dying from a weird bit of not space plague, but like a weird variation of the cold. So yeah, I'd quite like to go to the future because I think that'd be quite exciting to see, just to explore a different world. Well, the same world what we all know, but 1,000 years in advance, really, to see how far we advance as a society or whether we regress. So yeah, I'd say there. Yeah, the future would be quite cool. Who books? If the Feast of Stephen doesn't get found, the BBC will just animate it anyway, so it will be complete. The Dalek Master Plan's a weird one, isn't it? Because they might do like a cut down version just to make it more viable for them to animate. But we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, yeah, it would be lovely to have the Feast of Stephen so we can say that we have all of Doctor Who. And that'll be such a satisfying feeling. Would you like to see more first, second Doctor and third Doctor Lost stories to be full cast? Yes, I think that it's about time that the third Doctor has some of his lost stories made by Big Finish. I believe that we're getting a reinterpretation of the Three Doctors, where the first Doctor plays more of an integral role within the story. So that will be very exciting. So I hope that we get to see that, because I think the Lost Stories is such an exciting range, because I feel the Lost Stories is some of the best sort of authentic Big Finish you can get, because it's them trying to replicate that era with the music and the sound design. It is just really amazing. And yeah, the Lost Stories are some of the most authentic, and they genuinely do feel like missing TV episodes, which is always very exciting. Whereabouts are we? So yeah, keep your questions coming in, because we'll keep answering them, because this is all good fun. Fury from the Deep is my all-time favorite Doctor Who story to prefer. I adore the horror and the approaches and all the avenues of that. Yeah, Fury from the Deep is a good story. I think Fury from the Deep probably works best as an audio story. I think that I was probably more creeped out by the soundtrack than watching the animation of it. But yeah, Fury from the Deep is a wonderful story. Stylish One, thoughts on Aliens Among Us? Is that... I know I've got one of the Tortured box set. I'm going to have a look because I bought it last year in a bundle. I'm just going to check, because I'm not sure if it's Gods Among Us or Aliens Among Us. I'm not too familiar with the Tortured stuff. Let's have a quick little look at this. Whereabouts are we in the old app? Bear with me for a second. Where are we? Purchased. I'm just going to have a little cheeky little scroll and see which Tortured box set it is, so I can give you my correct view on said release. Whereabouts are we? Because yeah, the tortured stuff I don't really collect. I cherry pick it if it's a release that interests me. I'll pick it up. I'm trying to find it now. It says, "Oh, Aliens Among Us." I have Aliens Among Us. I've only listened to the first box set, but I thought it was pretty good. The whole mystery about what they're doing with Gwen is pretty intriguing, and I really should go back and revisit that and see how it ends. But obviously, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's a very different feel of torture to what we've seen before, really. Yeah, it's very different to Children of Earth and Miracle Day. I guess it feels maybe a little bit more traditional Torchwood. I mean, I love Paul Clayton's character. He's great. I love him. Are you going to be picking up any of the old Bernie Summerfield box sets since they're on sale? I'm tempted by Epoch because it's got like a DVD interview thing within it, which will be quite interesting to experience. So I think Epoch I'm quite tempted to pick up, but I've not really followed the Bernie Summerfield stuff. I've only got the first series and the fourth series and Relics of Jexal and the New Adventures box set. So yeah, maybe it'd be a good little sale to plug in a few gaps in the collection. So where are we in the old comments? There we go. In Dalek Universe cover art, we've had the 60s, 70s, and first 80s Dalek Supreme. So what is your favorite Supreme design? That's a good question. My favorite Supreme design, I have a soft spot for the Remembrance of the Daleks Supreme in that, the Renegade. Sorry, I got the hiccups there. Because I've been talking for a little bit. Well, talking for like an hour and a half. I think my favorite is probably the Planet Supreme because he takes no nonsense. If you fail him, he's got to kill you. So yeah, I don't really want to mess with the Planet Supreme. So I want him to be my friend. So Planet Supreme is my favorite Supreme design. If you could have dinner with three actors, if you could have dinner with three actors, writers, producers from who would you choose? Obviously, I'd choose John Pertwee because that'd be really cool to have dinner with Pertwee. So that's my actor. In terms of writer, I think Stephen Moffat would be quite a good raconteur. And then producer, I'd say Barry Letts, because I think that he is a very wise man, and I think that he'd be full of wisdom. So I think that it'd be quite an interesting dinner party having those three, really. Yeah. Brian Smith, would you like to see new special effects on the Invasion of the Dinosaurs? Would it be possible to do it? I think we kind of expect Invasion of the Dinosaurs to get new special features. Well, no, not new special features, new special effects. I mean, I don't think that the dinosaurs are that bad. I think it's part of the charm, and I think that's what makes the story so memorable. It's like the Green Death. You don't touch the maggots. The Green Death is memorable because it's the one with the maggots. But I would be quite interested to see it. Maybe have it like some sort of Jurassic Park sort of style dinosaurs. That would be really cool. Sell the fear factor of the old dinosaurs. But yeah, I think it is possible. I think it is possible because we've seen them sort of redo. I mean, I think most collection box sets that they've done have had a new new special effect on there. So I think that is possible. I think it is possible. I mean, if the Invasion of the Dinosaurs doesn't get done on season 11, I think it will probably be what is it? Planet of Spiders. I think that would be benefit from getting the special edition treatment. So that'd be really cool. Right, so let's get back to the old chat. Would absolutely love to meet you at a con someday, Ben. You've been one of my YouTube idols. Hopefully, my quiet spoken and awkward nature wouldn't get in the way. I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great. I'm all for meeting subscribers, and you've been a big supporter of the channel, so I'm all for meeting you at a convention at some point, because that's part of the charm of conventions, isn't it? To go to the pub afterwards and just to socialize with people. So yeah, I'm down for that. And thank you for calling me a YouTube idol. That's really heartwarming. So thank you. Stylish one. Would you like to see a Time Lord Renegade box set that Twitter practically willed into existence? Yeah, that'd be quite cool. Maybe the Corsair. I'd like to see Big Finish tackle the Corsair at some point. The Corsair, the War Master, the War Monk, the War Rani. Yeah, let's do that. The War Scorchies. Let's have that box set. That'd be really cool. Yeah, let Big Finish do their own Suicide Squad. That'd be very cool. Could you rank the classic Doctors by how much you enjoy their TV eras? Oh, right. Okay. I would say number 1, Third Doctor. Number 2, Fourth Doctor. Yeah, the 1970s is my favorite. Then I would say, I'd say Hartnell. Then I would say Troughton, Davison, Sylvester, and then Colin, I would say, for that. Harry Williams Productions. Why is Doom Coalition 2 so bad? Why is it bad? Well, I'll tell you why it's bad. It's just it's not one of Big Finish's finest bits of audio. Right, so there is a story called The Sonomancer, which introduces another villain of the series, hence why it's called Doom Coalition, because the Sonomancer and the 11 join forces and try and cause chaos across the universe. The 11 as a villain is such a really good, in terms of writing, he's written so well in his introduction story, The 11, and then it's written by Matt Fitton, who, wrote the 11's first ever story. The 11 becomes a pantomime villain, and it's just absolutely horrible. The stories are just filler. They don't really connect to the overall Doom Coalition arc. Beachhead is just, just a bit sad, really, because it's the 8th Doctor in the Void, and it should be a bit more memorable than what it is. And then you have, I think, A Life and a Day, which is by John Dorney, which should be a really good story, but is just really not. I really don't like it. Then you have The Gift, which had a huge selling point of the 8th Doctor returning to San Francisco, but it's not very good. I genuinely can't remember much about Doom Coalition 2, other than I just think it's some of the worst Big Finish I've listened to. Sorry, Big Finish, I love you, but I just don't like it. Really don't. Just don't like it. So that's why it's bad. Just because how it treats one of the main villains, the 11, and turns it into a pantomime villain. Not a fan. Tom Garb, what if they do Lost Stories for an alternative end of Trial of a Time Lord as Robert Holmes and Eric Sagwood intended? Yes, that would be really interesting, wouldn't it? To see the original planned ending for Trial of a Time Lord. I would definitely be down for that. What is your favourite season from each classic and New Who, apart from the Pertwee seasons? Louis, you're really putting the difficult question there. I can't use my Pertwee answer as a scapegoat. I would say my favourite is either season 14. I really like season 14, or season 12. I'd say one of those, but I'd say, probably say, I'd go season 14, because, Talons of Wang Chiang, I love. Robot to Death, so iconic. Face of Evil, I think, is really underrated as a story. And then Hand of Fear, I've grown a new appreciation for since the Blu-ray box set, and The Mask of Mandragora is wonderful. I wouldn't even say no to a salami sandwich. Yes. Where are we in the old chat? But in terms of new series, I'd say, I'll tell you my list of new series. I would say Series 5 is my favourite of Modern Who. Then I'd go Series 1, and then I'd go Series 10 and Series 4, my favourites. But yeah, I'd say Season 14 and Series 5 for that are my favourites. Thoughts on Class? I never finished watching it. I watched the first 3 episodes and I thought, that's not my thing. I'm gonna leave it. Will you revisit it now it's on iPlayer? I mean, if people want me to review Class and do a video on it, put it in the thing, and I will I will watch Class for your entertainment. And will you buy the audios? If they do a continuation, if they do the Class Weeping Angel story, I might be tempted. If not, then no. Right. 4 of the best writers, 2 from old and 2 from new. I'd say Robert Holmes. It's got to be there. I think that he's so good. And then I'd say Stephen Moffat, because when Stephen Moffat's good, he's blooming good. And then I would say for another new series one, I'd say Toby Whithouse. I think that he's quite underrated. I love Before the Flood and Under the Lake and Town Called Mercy and School Reunion. Really good stories. And then another one from old Who, I'd say Malcolm Hulke, because he wrote The Sea Devils and The Silurians and Invasion of the Dinosaurs. And I think that he's a really underrated writer in terms of classic Doctor Who. It's crazy to think that the Troughton era is nearly complete with animations. Do you think it will be completed next year? I don't think it will be completed next year. I mean, it would be nice if it was completed next year. But I think we're going to have a bit of a break from Troughton, and we're going to focus on the Hartnell animations, because I believe Galaxy 4 is going to be the first of the Hartnell animations. So that'll be exciting. That'll be very exciting to experience that. Would you like to see glitz on audio? They teased this with A Life of Crime, and also did that ending A Life of Crime where Gloria swears revenge and goes off to seek out the Doctor ever get resolved? This is going to sound a bit harsh, but this is Doctor Who fans, because there was a whole scare about Tony Selby dying, and people thought it was the person who played Glitz, and everyone was saying rest in peace Tony Selby, and then it turned out to be another Tony Selby, which is really sad. And then you have Doctor Who fans going, thank God it's not our Tony Selby, and then people are going, well, God, that's a sign Big Finish get Tony Selby to record Big Finish. I think it would be pretty cool to have Glitz back in an audio, to see what he's been up to, because I know he's appeared in a past Doctor book, I think Mission Impractical, and it explains how Dibber died, why he's not in Dragonfire. In terms of Life and Crime, I can't really remember it because I'm not a huge fan of it, but I can tell you this: Gloria does not get a revenge as far as I remember. Pitch Go Black, have you ever had a supernatural encounter or event happen? No, not really. I'm a big believer of, if there is something out there, leave it. I think that's probably best, because why do you want to poke it with a stick? I do believe in that sort of stuff, because it's nice to have that sort of belief there is something after all this. But yeah, I wouldn't go prodding. But no, I haven't had a supernatural encounter. I mean, you have those moments where you're alone and you think there's someone behind you, but that's not really supernatural, is it? I mean, it could be, but I don't know. I mean, I live in quite an old house, so I don't know. But yeah, I don't think I ever have, and I think it'd be quite terrifying. Yeah. Yes, review it. Oh, looks like I might be reviewing Class then. Oh gosh, what have I started? We're going to be reviewing Class and Tales from New Earth. This is quite terrifying. Oh no. Do you have a least favourite Doctor and favourite Pertwee season? Do you have a least favorite Doctor? My least favorite Doctor, the Trevor Martin Doctor. In terms of TV Doctor, the Morbius Doctors. I don't know. That's a bit of a cheat answer, isn't it? Really. Yeah, I guess I'll have to say, Jodie. Not that I don't hate Jodie. I just think that she's a Doctor I don't revisit as much as the others. Saying that though, I haven't really watched much Doctor Who recently, so there we go. I'm a terrible fan. Yeah. And favorite Pertwee season, I think it's between season 10 and season 7. I think season 7's so special because it's such a different flavor of Doctor Who. If you look at all the other seasons of Doctor Who and you look at season 7, it's so unique, and the whole look of the series, it has that sort of grimy, gritty feel to it, and I think that makes it so unique. And then season 10, what's not to love? It's the Three Doctors, Carnival of Monsters, and this grand story in terms of frontier and space and Planet of the Daleks and the Green Death. But yeah, I don't know if I can pick between those two. Somebody put there on the CV that Galaxy 4, so basically confirmed it. Yeah, so yeah, Galaxy 4. Hi Ben, congrats on the updated room tour. Congrats, will you do an updated room tour? Like I said earlier, I don't think my room's changed that much to do a room tour. And when will the mugs come out? I've just got to find a place where I can put the mugs for sale. And then we'll go from there. Once I find that, then I can launch the Pertweesmith11 mugs. So yeah, that answers your question, hopefully. Have you seen the season 8 collection box set documentary Terrence and Me with Frank Skinner? And if so, what did you think? I thought that it was a really lovely. I think that season 8 is probably my favorite cover art of the collection box set so far. In terms of Terrence and Me, what a beautiful little documentary that is. It was such a lovely little documentary, and to be invited into Terrence Stick's home and to see all the little Doctor Who figurines there, it was really heartwarming to see like a little Matt Smith there and a little Kablam robot there, and then you went into his study and you had like the Time Lords from the War Games there. It was really lovely. It was really lovely to know more about Terrence the man, and not to have like the traditional convention anecdotes. So it was really, really nice to have to watch that. And Frank Skinner is such a wonderful presenter. That it's always lovely to see him sort of show his geek card by him just referencing obscure stuff, what only we would understand. So I get a real kick out of it, really, when you meet sort of Doctor Who people and they're actual fans, and then they're sort of referencing like the talents of Weng Chiang and stuff like that. It's like when I was at Wales Comic Con and David Tennant mentioned Katarina, and I was like, wow, you know Katarina? That's so cool. But yeah, the Frank Skinner documentary, oh, superb. I mean, it's hard to pick one of the best sort of special features from those sets, because they're all so good. But I think the Terrence and Me documentary from season 8 is probably my favorite special feature on the season 8 box set. But that's got some really good ones like Direct Route and A Devil's Weekend. That's a wonderful one. Where are we in the old chat? Big Finish should make that War Pescatons box set instead of the 8th Doctor Time War. They've already got the cover made, and now they can throw Dr. Ogron into the mix. Yeah, let's have Dr. Ogron and the Pescaton box set. That would be absolutely insane. I just remembered that I've got to I've just remembered I've got to react to my first ever YouTube video because somebody dared me. So I'll do that in a minute once we've gone through the last few questions, and then we'll I'll try and react to my first ever YouTube video. So that's going to be a barrel of laughs. I mean, I'm not looking forward to it. Where are we? Well, in that case, you may like what I'm doing on the channel currently. We'll have some interesting Doctor Who moments within. Okay, that'll be quite interesting to watch. What are your favourite 11th Doctor stories and 13th Doctor stories? 11th Doctor stories, 11th Hour, Vincent and the Doctor, Pandorica Opens, anything from Series 5, Amy's Choice, I love. Cold War, Victor of the Daleks, The Angel Two-Parter. That's quite a few. Day of the Doctor, that's a great one. 13th Doctor, I'd say Rosa, The Witchfinders, Haunting of Villadia, Darty, Spyfall, Fugitive of Jadoon, Ghost Monument, I have a soft spot for. I do quite like those. What are your favourite TV shows outside Doctor Who? I've mentioned this throughout the stream. Game of Thrones. I've become addicted to that recently. I started watching it, and now it's become one of my favourite things ever. I love it. Yeah, I do love me some Game of Thrones. You know, it's dragons and the whole sort of conspiracy of, you know, power control. It's all good, and it's got dragons and lots of fighting and blood. But yeah, it's really cool. I'm gonna say I quite like the Grand Tour. I do like the Grand Tour. I recently watched Clarkson's Farm, and as somebody who is a bit of a country boy, I appreciated it a lot. I really liked Clarkson's Farm. I thought that was really cool, and I'm looking forward to season 2 because it was just fun seeing Clarkson trying to be a farmer and trying to deal with farming problems like herding sheep and using a drone instead of a sheepdog. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Other TV shows I like. I think that's really it for TV shows what are happening right now. I quite like Staged as well. That was a good little lockdown highlight. Do you watch any of the raw studio footage on the Blu-rays? I haven't watched any of it yet. I haven't become that bored yet, but yeah, I would like to see some of the season 24 stuff. I think there's 25 hours of it. Yeah, there we go. I haven't watched any of the studio footage. Oh dear. Right. The scene where Frank went into Terrence's private office, I got chills. I loved it. Yeah, that was beautiful. Do you like The Walking Dead? I've never seen it. I have never seen The Walking Dead, and I've heard of it gets a little bit goes a little bit downhill. And I know Game of Thrones is supposedly goes downhill in season 8, but so far I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I haven't watched Walking Dead. I haven't watched it yet. What's your favorite movie franchise? Star Wars, Marvel, and DC? I guess Star Wars out of those three. I've not really seen many of the Marvel films and DC films. I'm not really a superhero fan because I kind of feel like they are a little bit generic, maybe because they sort of follow that formula of is he gonna die? Oh no! In the last moment, he managed. I guess you could say that about Doctor Who, but yeah, I'd say Star Wars is probably my favorite out of that. Yeah, because you get some great little stuff like The Mandalorian. Big fan of Mandalorian. That's another TV show I like, Mandalorian. Gotta love some of your old videos. Still have the WMV in the title. Oh, leave me alone. I mean, I'm proud that you know that. But yeah, little me wasn't very technical about with all that sort of stuff. Hopefully, I've improved. With all that, so we'll watch that in a minute. We'll watch that in a minute. Once we get through some of these questions, then we'll get through and watch this first ever video and let me have secondhand embarrassment where you can all laugh at me and go, God, wasn't he a little fetus? If you got to play the Doctor, what would your outfit be? Maybe this would be quite nice. Maybe like a blue velvet coat. Maybe a bow tie as well. That'd be quite cool. And then maybe some sort of black trousers and some brown brogue boots. Be quite cool. Yeah, I'd say that. I'd say yeah, something like this. That'd be quite nice. Yeah, I'd say that. That'd be quite cool to wear. Just basically how I dress anyway. Honestly, aren't all of our first videos pretty off to begin with? Yeah, I mean, if you're nailing YouTube from your first ever video, then there's something wrong. Was watching The Greatest Show in the Galaxy yesterday. The DV documentary is so funny. It made me laugh so much when the chief clown hit himself on the head with the door. Yeah, he went to hospital, didn't he? Ian Dreyfuss from... not Ian Dreyfuss, Ian Reddington. So yeah, poor guy. But yeah, Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Good story. Stylish one. Why don't you like the second Doctor story, The Home Guard, aside from Dreyfuss being in it? I think that it's a really slow story. Personally, I'm one of those people who I'm not a fan of the Master meeting the Doctor prior to the third Doctor. I know it doesn't make sense because obviously he was at the Academy with Hartnell, but I don't like the idea of the Master bumping into the Doctor before Terror of the Autons. That's the only time where I'm really pernickety with all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm just not. I just think it's a bit of a slow story, personally. I mean, I should revisit it because me and Luke are on about revisiting, or not revisiting, but doing like an early adventures tier list. Once Series 7 is out, we'll be doing that. So I might revisit the Home Guard, especially for that. But I remember not being too keen on it. I'm just gonna load my first ever video up now. So keep posting your questions and I'll load this little video up. Oh gosh, it's 3 minutes long. So while that loads, I'll have a quick look at the chat. Where are we go? I like how David K. Barnes is writing a Fourth Doctor Sea Devil story. I'm so excited for that, to have David K. Barnes, because he wrote Daughter of the Gods, which was a wonderful early adventure, and I think that he's going to do a marvelous job writing for the Fourth Doctor and Sea Devils. And I hope that it's a six-parter as well, because it's just so exciting. I started watching the studio footage of Ghostlight one night and realized there was 3.5 hours of it, and 40 minutes in. Yeah, I mean, if we do go into another lockdown, then I think the studio footage is a good way to pass the time. Fourth Doctor vs. Ice Warriors in Series 12. I am very excited for that because I love me some Ice Warrior action. They're my favourite monster aside from Daleks and Cybermen. So, and the Fourth Doctor, one of my favourite Doctors. So, I'm a big fan. Thoughts on the Sixth Doctor's blue coat? I like it. It's a shame that Big Finish don't really use it on the cover art anymore, which is a bit of a shame, really. But yeah, but I do like it. I mean, I'm one of those weird people who enjoy the Sixth Doctor's costume generally. So yeah, I do like the blue costume, but I do like the Sixth Doctor's original costume. Leaked 14th Doctor is Ben, aka Pertweesmith11. Spoilers. So chat, shall we, before we do any more questions, shall we watch and react? Well, watch me react in pain to my first ever YouTube video because I was dared by David Mullin, and I'm gonna do it. So are we ready to react to this iconic video, what is now 10 years old? So here we go. Yeah, right, so if we load it up, so I just think the video's almost loaded because my internet's been very slow. So I'll just quickly check the chat to see if we're all ready for the experience that is my first ever YouTube video, and I'll give you a little commentary on life back then. But yeah, we've got, we're all ready. So I'm gonna screen share. Yeah, while we watch this, please, keep posting your questions in the chat. and get ready to see me struggle in pain. I mean, this is a good way for me to get a bit of a drink because I'm a little bit thirsty. So if we can screen share, can we screen share? Why does my mouse keep freezing at the most terrible times? Right, screen share. Do you want to see how professional I was when I started? Because it doesn't even have a title. this video. So God knows. So hopefully you can see. You can see that. You can see PewDiePie. I do like me some pewds. So here we go. This is my first ever video. As you can see, it's not even called Doctor Who, Welcome to Pertweesmith11. It is called Capture a Load of Numbers. And it's 3 minutes, and this is recorded back in my kitchen. So hopefully you can hear this. So if you just joined, I apologize, but you're going to hear a very fetus young Pertweesmith11. So enjoy. I'm sure it'll be full of comedy. So I'll just unmute that. Hopefully you can hear it. Plummin' heck, my voice did not change. Well, my voice has changed quite dramatically. Oh, yeah, you are. Hopefully you can hear this. Can you hear it? I can't see it on the chat. I'm gonna have a little look. See, we're very on brand. We're getting new merch like the Junkyard TARDIS. I sound like I've got a cold. This is horrible. Oh, you can't hear. You can't hear. Oh, this has gone terribly. Hang on. I'll stop sharing. Stop sharing. Right. We're going to have to go back to the old technical side. No, I can't hear. Oh, gosh. Hang on. I will try and find a way of getting the audio. Screen share. Share screen. Share audio. There we go. I forgot the share audio button. Right. Okay. Right. We should be all right now, peeps. All right. Window. Right. Share. Let's load it back up and rewind. So here we go. Here is the video. Before we play and have my trauma, as you can see, the quality we've gone at market now. In 10 years we've gone to HD because it was 240p. So yeah, are we ready for Fetus Me? Yeah, 3 minutes of pain. So I can't believe I've got to rewatch this twice now because the sound. Here we go. Yeah, my voice definitely has dropped. Yes, you are Pertweesmith11. You never see them. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. I definitely lived up to that. I sound like I've got a cold. Come on, what can you expect? There we go. My opinion hasn't changed at all. I've not changed. Why are you talking about the cave monsters instead of what you're doing? Oh god. I can't. This is painful. I don't like this. That's true. You do like those two doctors? Oh, figure adventure plans. They will be rubbish because you never did figure reviews. I'm sorry if I keep pausing it. My mouse is frozen. As you can see, I can't move it. This is quite annoying. But yeah. Yeah, you can watch these figure adventures if you're bored. you will never see that figure adventure. I started filming it, but it never happened. You never see them. See, I didn't even know what the second story was, but you know you were getting two. I might have done, but I can't remember. John Bradley, my favorite doctor. Yeah, if you're a fan of John Pertwee, good on you. What am I on about? No. 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 Right. Like this. There he is. I don't know if you can. I don't even know if you can see the Dalek muted because the quality's so shite. Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy ride because there's a Cyberman and a Dalek muted in the TARDIS. That's all I'm watching of that. That's horrible. I hope that you enjoyed seeing me struggle. Oh, I can't hear. You can't hear it. Just roll with it and create the dialogue based on the video. I mean, if you wanna watch that video, please do, and just see how terrible it was, and replay some of this because my just replay the commentary what I had on this live stream. Yeah, it's pretty cringe. So yeah, I apologize. Apologize for no order. I thought that would have worked because it had like a share audio, so I thought that was working. So I apologize that you couldn't hear it, but I'm sure you can rewatch it in your own time. It's very quiet. Okay. Should I replay it? Should I replay it and just play with full? Should I replay it? I don't know. Put in the chat if you want to see it replayed, and I'll put it a bit louder, hopefully. Yeah, I'll just go back to the questions quickly while we wait for a few just to see. But yeah, that was me reacting to my first video. Apologies if you couldn't hear it or it was very quiet, but it is there for you to watch for your own enjoyment, and hopefully I've improved since there. Yeah, I'm very sorry that you couldn't hear. Replay. Oh no. Oh gosh. Hang on. If I take my headphones out, would this work? Would this work if I take my head? This is live action here now, folks. Oh dear. Oh dear. Can I take my headphones out? This is the pain. I'll try and answer a question while I do this. Move my microphone out of the way. This is the things you do for entertainment here. Dear. I can't get my headphones out. This is blimey. It's terrifying. Hang on. If I put it on my phone and try and sync it with the audio, right? I'm just going to quickly play this on my phone, see if it works, and tell me if you can hear it. If I go videos and then go oldest video, done. What would you do if you were at a convention and you heard your first YouTube video played on a loudspeaker? I would run, run out of the building, and I would never be seen again. Right. Can you hear this?
Hello, and basically,
can you hear
this
that?
Is an introduction.
Can you hear that?
Basically, yeah, this is a video.
Can you hear that? Because if I will try and sync that up with the on screen from my phone, or I will. Yeah, you can hear that. Okay, right. I might not go all technical. Right. Okay. I'll put it on my phone then, and I'll do a little live reaction. Right. Oh gosh, don't play. Look, you will play. Right, there you go. This is the thing you're dealing with right now. As you can see, it was filmed in my kitchen. In 240. I'll turn my brightness up so you can see a little bit better. Not that you need to see it because it's quite horrible, and I can't believe that you're all making me suffer this again 3 times now. Oh gosh, display and brightness. There we go. Right, there we go. Hopefully you can see. Was that too bright now? I don't know. Can you see? That's a bit too bright. Can't get it right here, can we? We try and be all technical and all hip and cool, and we fail. See, 11-year-old me was much better at technology. Right, that's the best we're gonna get. You can see it's my kitchen. So let's play this first ever video.
Hello, and basically, this is an introduction.
Well done, Ben. It is an introduction.
Basically, yeah, this is a video.
That's a shite Tenant impression. Yeah.
I'm Pertweesmith11.
Yes, you are, and still are.
What you could expect from this channel is figure adventures.
No, you never get figure adventures.
Such as with new Series 6 products, such as with John TARDIS.
That's true. You do get figure reviews.
Classic figure reviews.
That is true.
Tom Baker's TARDIS.
You don't get that, but that will happen sometime.
Yeah, so.
What else? What can we expect? What else? What else?
I can get it in. From the Cave Monster.
The Cave Monster. Ooh, you'd never get that video. He's lying there.
Brilliant story.
It is a good story.
By Sticks.
Yeah.
He was produced in the 1970s.
That he is.
Produced most of John Pertwee's era. Well, he did produce most of it. Upcoming DVDs.
Yeah, DVDs.
Such as the Mannequin Manor box set.
Yeah.
Which has been out since May.
This dates the video so much, doesn't it? Oh, wow.
What do you want to know about me? I like these two doctors.
What doctors do you like? You like John Pertwee? And like Matt Smith? There you go. See, the opinion's still the same.
Yeah. The figure adventure plans.
You don't get them.
They would be rubbish.
Yes, they probably would have been.
Rubbish.
They would have been.
There's something to watch. If you're bored. I've enjoyed making the first part of my Patrick Troughton story.
Did you? I don't remember that.
Which features a monster, which I can't say because it's spoilers.
I think the monster was the Cyberman. These do them or we riot.
2 stories with Patrick Troughton.
You're not gonna get the stories.
That one and another one, which the last one's a pretty big one.
See, he doesn't even know what stories he's talking about. He's just making it all up on his head.
Patrick Troughton and
no.
I haven't even filmed it, but I have the script and it is phenomenal. I'll be doing.
Oh, you are really
my favourite.
Yeah, you like John Pertwee.
If you're a fan of John Pertwee, good on you.
Yeah, if you're a fan of John Pertwee, good on you.
Well, so you can do many things with these.
What can you do? Tell us.
Well, I'll be doing Patrick Troughton.
You're not telling us.
The Doctor Who Figure Adventures on my channel, and the second will be John. Then when the new Series 6 things come out, such as The Silence, Idris, Uncle, Doctor and Strange,
right.
Nephew, immediate, the list is endless.
You're just listing a load of figures. It is endless. Figure reviews. You're not doing figure reviews.
With, I think John out the way. Matt Smith.
You probably couldn't even see them muted because they're terrible quality.
Hope you enjoyed this little introduction. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, and see you next time for the next video on Pertweesmith11. Thank you very much, and my balls have not dropped yet. Yes, goodbye. That was the first ever video. I had to relive that 3 times. Oh gosh. I'm glad that everyone seems to be enjoying this. Maybe you should give us these reviews now 10 years later. Maybe. It must have been scary doing that first time. Full respect to your younger self. Yeah, younger me has probably got more balls than me now because he was just like, yeah, you're going to get figure adventures. You're going to get reviews. You probably didn't get much of that. You sound like Wurzel Gummidge. All right, okay, I'll take that. But yeah, that is my first ever video reacted. But I'm glad you've all enjoyed seeing me suffer that 3 times. Please do them while we riot. Oh gosh, you sound rather posh. You're a bit more common now, in a good way. I'm not posh. But yeah, that was all. I guess maybe I was trying to do an impression of Matt Smith, because I was like, hey, he's the Doctor, he sounds cool. So I'm like, yes, hello, I'm the Doctor, and I'm going to be doing a terrible Matt Smith impression, but still fish fingers and custard, eh? But there we go. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's go back to the questions, because I don't really want to suffer to younger little me. Thoughts on the Big Finish B&M sets from 2 or so years ago? I really like them. I think they're great. I think they're really good. I think I'd love to see Big Finish and B&M do some more B&M sets. I think maybe have a bit more of an experimental, sort of do some original Big Finish monsters. That'd be really cool. Yeah, that's what to do with Pride Balls and a good time. Tonight is a blast, Pertweesmith11. Thank you. Glad that you're enjoying. I'm glad you're enjoying it, because I'm having fun. I like speaking to all of you guys, and it's just lovely and a nice way to sort of celebrate 10 years of a channel. Right, so where are we? I mean, I'm just going to quickly look at the chat before we went back to reacting to my first ever video, because it's quite terrifying. Oh, this is quite an interesting question. Hi, dude. Can you give an update on your collection? Cheers from Brazil. Hey, got some person from Brazil watching. Thank you very much. In terms of collection, there will be a Big Finish collection video for 2021, and there'll be a book collection and DVD collection in December, because I thought it would be quite nice to do that in December. And there will be a collection update very soon. I'm just waiting for the 9th Doctor vinyl to arrive, and then I'll do an updated collection update. But yeah, there we go. Right, where are we? Happy anniversary. Thank you very much. Sorry I'm late. Don't worry, we're still here having a good old time talking all things Who. This is absolutely hilarious, only hearing Ben and not young Ben. It's just me arguing with myself. Need a series of you reacting to you. I can't hear what little Ben is talking about, but its reaction is funny. Should we react to another video, since people seem to like it? I mean, here's a question. If you want to see me react to another video, pop down the video you want me to react to. There we go. Right, let's have a little look on the old chat again. What Doctor Who story do you hate the most? What story do I hate the most? I would say maybe Underpants. Sorry, I mean Underworld. Yeah, Underworld. Or Praxius. I'm not a fan of Praxius. I don't vibe with that. Don't vibe. I love how he said Mannequin Manor. Yeah, it was just great. You said you were having a ball. Question: are you planning on going to Doctor Who Time Fracture? I'm going in February. I would like to go to Doctor Who Time Fracture, but again, I'd like to have my second COVID jab before I go into London. But yeah, I'd like to go to Time Fracture at some point. Oh, I did do actually. I did tell a lie there. I did do a figure adventure. I did a teaser trailer, and I think I did do an episode of a First Doctor adventure, which is out there in the internet to be seen. Let's go back to if John Pertwee was to teach you something in school, what subject would it be? Drama. I think he'd be very good at drama. Obviously, because he's an actor. React to the worst Big Finish story. Worst Big Finish story review. I don't think I've reviewed anything bad. React to someone else's first video. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. Yeah, react to a second video you ever did. I'd like to see these figure adventures. React to a video wise, e.g. Doctor Who. Favorite Doctor Who novel you've read from any range? I'd say Last the Gathering. Because it's the third Doctor flying a Spitfire. What more do you want from a story? Should we put on the second video then to pass the time while we get a few more questions? What was my second video actually? I mean, if it's long, then we are watching the full thing because that's. I'll tell you what. I'll get the Figure Adventure trailer up and we can watch that because it was basically a knockoff of Power of the Daleks, and I was really proud of this. So I want to see if I'm still proud of it so many years later. So let's have a look. Oh, my second video is not actually that bad. Actually, tell a lie. It's just basically a slideshow of Doctor Who figures. But I'm gonna find this. Oh, that's another embarrassing thing I did. I did. Oh yeah, I did a Doctor Who video about Doctor Who packaging. How sad was I? That's absolutely terrible. So if I can find my little Power of the Daleks knockoff teaser trailer with me doing a rubbish Dalek voice. There we go. It's called Resurrection of Power. Can you guess what story I'm ripping off? So if I load it up. So this is what you would have got if I did Figure Adventures. So hopefully you can see this. I have not seen this in such a long time. When was it uploaded? This is becoming very self-indulgent. I'm very sorry. This was uploaded the 16th of July, 2012. So this is 9 years old. Do a Doctor Who Try Not to Laugh challenge. I have on my channel. Okay, I might have to try that. Right, so let's put the Figure Adventure trailer on. So are you ready to see this little teaser? Hopefully. It's called Resurrection of Power. So we've got the Patrick Troughton intro, very epic. And then we've got a TARDIS on some stones.
Now then, Simon, where to go now?
We've got this original companion called Simon.
What is it? The ship with the experiments, if you like to call them. Yes, what about it? Why?
It's all very mysterious. So, great direction there, moving the camera.
I typed in a random number. Well, I say a number, I mean a few numbers.
A terrible Troughton impression there.
You've come to take them away.
Come to take the Daleks away.
From you, I've come to help you. Why would we need help?
Own sound effects there. Me doing the electric noise. Very dramatic. Somebody's died.
Oh my word! I thought you were destroyed at Sparrow. I said the final end. You were wrong, Doctor. It looks like the Daleks are.
This is horrible.
Once more. Now bear witness from my top, the Dalek Emperor.
And there we go. That's a trailer for Resurrection of Power. Coming never. Right, back to the questions. Hope you've enjoyed that. Right, so let's go back to the old questions before we wrap it up for tonight, because I've had a lot of fun doing this. All right, so we've got a question here. I'm going on a mission to find that figure episode. Enjoy. I'm sure it'll be worth your time and worth your effort finding, because it's, yeah, pretty terrifying. Would you rather watch Love Island or your first video on a loop? How long am I watching my first ever video on? Because if I'm watching the same duration as Love Island, because I think Love Island is brain-numbingly dull, I would rather watch my first video, because I would probably find more entertainment of basically taking the mick out of myself. So there you go. I'd rather watch my first ever video. So yeah, keep your questions coming. Which New Who story would suit Pertwee? I think a very action-orientated story. That would be really cool, wouldn't it? What action-orientated story would there be? I'd quite like to see Pertwee in maybe like a Pandorica Opens style story, or like World Enough in Time would be quite cool. But I think Pandorica Opens would be a really good Third Doctor story. Imagine like all the Pertwee era monsters and the Master devised like the Alliance, and that would be really cool, wouldn't it? That big sort of ending of Unit going to sort of investigate Stonehenge, and it turns out to be like the Master underneath with a whole army of monsters from the Pertwee era. I think that would be really cool, actually. I want that now. That would be really cool. Pandorica Opens would be my choice for the Third Doctor. Also, congrats on 10 years. Crazy how time flies. Yeah, it just makes you feel really old, doesn't it, doing all this? There we go. Where are we? In the old trap. Hi, Pertweesmith11. Many congratulations on doing 10 years of content, and thanks for putting out great content. Thank you very much for the kind words. I really appreciate it. What's your favorite piece of Doctor Who merchandise? Good question, Andrew. I'd say I'm quite a big fan. I think the Third Doctor figure is quite special for me because it's my Doctor in 5-inch figure form. But I think maybe that will like the 1971 annual, because it's just such a very groovy thing. But in terms of non-Doctor Who items, well, it's technically Doctor Who is sort of moon boots and dinner suits, John Pertwee's autobiography, because I have John Pertwee's memorial service thing, which is quite a morbid thing to have, but it's a weird thing that I cherish. Not a bad Troughton impression. Oh, yes. Oh, Jamie. Oh, dear. Your Dalek voices are still better than the original Day of the Dalek voices. That's true. Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I was going to attempt to do a Dalek voice then, but I'm not embarrassing myself even more on the internet. Would you like Dalek Universe story with 9 instead of 10? I wouldn't. Yeah, Ninth Doctor and Daleks, no thank you. I feel like there's something sacred about the Ninth Doctor Dalek stories. So if it's like another monster, maybe like a cyber universe with the Ninth Doctor, then yeah, cool, I'll be down for it. But a Dalek universe with the Ninth Doctor, no. I think it just messes with his character arc, really. I proper enjoyed that. I'm glad that you had some entertainment seeing... how old was I then? Very young. Doing a terrible thing. Big Finish need to get Resurrection of Power. I'm sure Nicholas Briggs is going to DM me any day and get Resurrection of Power made, being a sequel to Power of the Daleks and Evil of the Daleks. Your face appears in a video titled Video with YZG, so you should react to that. I've never heard that. Yeah, fine. Where's that video? I'd like to see that video, because I've never heard of that. Your face appears. I no idea I appeared in that. So yeah, if you know where that video is, show me. I'd like to see it, and then I can react to it. Are you into horror? And or what is your favorite horror fan? I don't watch horror movies. I'm a bit of a wimp. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, really. I like scary stories, but I don't really watch horror movies because, yeah, I'm terrible. I'm a terribly jumpy person. I probably got scared of Monsters Inc. as a kid. I know your first love is Doctor Who, Ben, but have you ever given Blake 7 a look and listen? No, I have never. No, I've never watched Blake 7. I should. I should, because my dad watched it and he said it was all right. So I'd like to give it a go. But yeah, I'd like to see give Blake 7 a watch. What else we got? Thoughts on the 3.75-inch Doctor Who figures from years ago? I don't really like them. Video wise, easy. Yeah, I don't really like the 3.75 because the 5-inch figures was my childhood. So when the 3.75-inch figures came along, it felt like my childhood had died, and I felt like an adult, and I was like, no, I can't accept this. But there are some good figures in the 3.75-inch line. I only picked up a handful of them. I think that the new series Cybermen was great. I thought the Foretold was a really good figure. But that's about it, really. And the Ice Warrior, I really like the Ice Warrior, and hopefully character options can upscale some of those 3.75-inch figures, and we can get them in 5-inch where they belong. I don't think the John Pertwee sheet is morbid. It's a celebration of life. Treasure that. Oh, thank you, Brian. Yeah, it's a thing I hold dear because it's signed by Caroline John as well. So it's a very, very unique thing, and it's a weird thing to get signed by Caroline John. Video. How old were you when you made when that video was made? Which video were you on about? Because I've made many videos, so it's a bit hard. Video wise, e.g., Doctor Who is your 18th video. I'm really confused. I'm sorry. I'm having a brain fart right now. Sorry, stylish one. Exactly, Brian Smith. I think it's quite nice. Thank you. Adam from the Geeks Handbag would not be happy, but you've not watched Blake 7. Yeah, I'm sorry, Geeks Handbag, but I've not watched Blake 7. Video wise, e.g., Doctor Who is your 18th video. What is my 18th video? Should we have a little look? What is my 18th video? It's probably Fetus Me again, isn't it? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8. Oh, my 18th video was my face reveal. Yeah, like people cared about what this mysterious Pertweesmith11 looked like. Oh gosh, I look terrible in that. Gosh. Now I'll just put that there. There we go. There's Fetus Me. Very cool. Yeah. Weird. Yeah, I'm not watching that, but yeah. First video facing. Oh, you've done your research. You've done your research, stylish one. Are we gonna watch my face reveal video? Should we watch that and then we'll close the live stream off and do a last few questions? So yeah, put in the chat if you want to see me react to my face reveal video. Not that people really cared back then and don't really care now, I guess. Rewatched Arachnids in the UK last week and rewatched Dalek Invasion of Earth yesterday. What are your thoughts on them? Arachnids in the UK, when it broadcast, I thought it was okay. I thought it was all right, but yeah, I thought it was a little bit daft. It just felt a bit out of character for the 13th Doctor to basically shove a load of spiders and listen to some rap music. Yeah, it's crazy. But Dalek Invasion of Earth, I think, is a really good story. I really enjoy. That'd be quite nice. Yeah, Dalek Invasion of Earth is just really iconic. I really love it. React to it. All right, I'll react to my face reveal in a minute. How old were you in your first video? I was, I think, 12 or 13. So a long time ago. Well, 10 years ago, really. Right. Oh, right. So, right, we'll do face reveal, then we'll do some more questions, then we'll say goodnight because we've been going for nearly 3 hours, and I'm sure you want to go to bed instead of listen to me ramble on all night and go, hey, look at Fetus Me. Right. So I guess you can watch along on your computer if you want to get some visuals, but you're probably just here to see me cringe. This has now become the Pertweesmith11 cringe stream. So, right. Oh no, I do not like this. All right. Are you ready? Can you see? Can you see? Hopefully you can. I don't know if you can see. Can you see better like that? I don't know. If I angle it there, can see fetus me. Right, let's play it. It's only 3 minutes.
Hello, this is me, Pertweesmith11.
Why am I so innocent?
Me, this is what I look like. Yeah.
Woo! Face.
Yeah. I just literally finished reviewing The Astronaut.
Right. Very interesting,
Ben.
Ben.
Up today or tomorrow, depending what time I have.
What time do you have? There you go. That's better.
About to review The Sixth Doctor Regenerated.
Very exciting content.
Here. Yeah. Here.
Hey! Oh no, I've locked the screen. Terrible. Sorry. Yeah, even my phone doesn't want me to carry on watching this monstrosity. Yeah, there we go. Let's play.
And it's just basically Peter Davidson from the Resurrection.
Ooh, yeah, very exciting.
I hope you all enjoyed my packaging collection videos.
Bet they didn't, Ben.
Yeah, I don't know if many people have seen them.
No, not many did.
Yeah, but I've just done a DVD review as well of Planet of Spiders.
Oh, very on brand.
Yeah.
There we go. Show the product. Well done.
I've introduced a new theory to my videos. I'm going to be putting pictures and stuff on them. So
he's going to be putting pictures on there. Man, he's going technical here, isn't he?
How big the figure is and what it needs improving on.
Oh, there we go.
And I'll still be doing the packaging, even though I don't get any complaints because not many people watch my videos. But
oh, he's playing the sympathy card. Not many people watch his videos.
Yeah, it took me ages to do that packaging and stuff.
It probably didn't.
Because I had to re-upload it because it's 16 minutes long and it's just 2 minutes over. Surely.
Look at me moaning about the YouTube thing about having 15 minutes, only allowed to upload 15 minutes of content. Yeah. Oh, so man.
Hopefully I'll, yeah.
He's having a brain fart and he's kept it in.
The reason why I'm bombarding my channel with videos is because I want to do as many videos as I can before I go back to school, which is a week today.
There's some good looking boxes. That's the highlight of the video, the boxes.
Which is pretty bad, really. So I won't be wearing this cool shirt. This shirt's cool.
Oh no, I'm not watching any more of that. That's horrible. That's enough reacting to the. I'm cringing. That's way more cringy than the first ever video. So yeah, back to the questions. So if you've got any last questions before we wrap it up and say good night and farewell, and all the thank yous and all that. How about Cyber Universe with 9 along with Cyber Protocol? Cyber Protocol with John Coleshaw voicing 3 as a prequel. Oh, I like the sound of that. Doctor Who's Magical Entertainment. I sign me up for that and put that in my ears because I'm very excited about that. Favorite series of Game of Thrones so far? Oh, that's a difficult one because I think anything from series 1 to 4, amazing. It's just chef kiss. I mean, series 1 I love because it's got my favorite character in there. Which is Ned Stark. Nobody's beat Ned for me. He's just an absolute man, honourable guy. Love him. But I'd say probably series 4 is probably my favourite because I think there's so much stuff going on within it. And it's just really cool. I mean, I don't think there's anything from the first 4 series is just really solid stuff. Personally. Right. You might cringe at your old videos, but I think how the actors who were kids at the start of Game of Thrones feel when they were seen by millions of people. Yeah, that's true. But I guess luckily only a few people have ever seen those videos, so it's not as much cringe, I guess. Who Books going off to bed now. Good night and stay safe. Thank you, Who Books, for joining. Harry Williams, do you still like Last of Summer Wine? Yeah, I still like it. I mean, I haven't watched it in donkey's years. It's kind of crazy, but considering I'm a Doctor Who channel, my most viewed video is the Last of a Summer Wine video. So there we go. I've not really cracked that whole YouTube larky, have I? Yeah, so I think I'll go for another couple of minutes. So then we'll wrap it up for this evening. So yeah. Right. Thanks for the stream, Ben. Really enjoyed it. Hope you can do another one soon. Yeah, there'll be another live stream on Friday, which will be a Jago and Lightfoot one. A Big Finish fans doing a tier list on Jago and Lightfoot. All their releases from Big Finish, so that'll be very exciting. I'll be with Luke for that. Where else are we going? Which upcoming Big Finish release are you looking forward to the most? Dalek Universe 3's up there. I think that'd be quite cool. The anything Eccleston would be pretty cool because it's Eccleston. But Third Doctor Volume 8, I'm really excited for because I really enjoyed Volume 7. I think that was a really wonderful box set. So I say Volume 8 of the Third Doctor Adventures. Thoughts on the Missy Big Finish theme tune? I've never listened to Missy, so I don't know what the theme tune is. So I'm really sorry that I can't answer that because I don't have any of the Missy stuff. Do you think Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi will ever join Big Finish? Yes, I think they will join Big Finish at some point. It'll be in a few years. I mean, Matt Smith, I think Matt Smith will join Big Finish very soon. Fingers crossed, because I'd love to have more 11th Doctor adventures, maybe like 11th Doctor and River Song box set. That would be really cool, like the 10th Doctor and River box set. That'd be really nice. But yeah, I'd like Capaldi to be with Bill. Yeah, more 12th Doctor and Bill stories. Right, so where are we? Thoughts on the War Master. Them to now have the full version thanks to Heart of Darkness made me think of the series had only run for 4 books. We never heard the full theme tune. Yeah, the War Master theme is such a really good theme, and that middle 8 is chef's kiss. I do love it. Cheers for the stream, top class. Thank you, Seth. Thank you very much. Cheers to another 10 years. Yeah, so cheers. Here's to another 10 years of madness. There we go. What actor who's not a Doctor would you like to see join Big Finish? Charles Dance. I think it'd be good. Let's do like an Unbound Master or have him as the Master. I think we're all caught up with the chat. So if you've got any last questions before I bid you all a good night and thank you for all the lovely questions, because it's been lovely. It's been lovely speaking to you all. And I hope that you've enjoyed the cringe fest of this stream. So yeah, top stream, great night, and congratulations. Thank you, Aidan. Yeah, thank you all for the questions. So if you've got any last questions, then please do put them in the old chat. So then once that's done, we can all go to bed, and I can watch an episode of Game of Thrones and listen to some Big Finish. But yeah, there we go. Cheers. Yeah, thank you. What Doctor actor would you like to meet the most? I think Fraser Hines would be nice. I'd like to meet Fraser Hines because he's such an integral part. Tom, cheers. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're all done. Have another great 10 years. You can react to this stream 10 years time. All right. Okay, we're going to react to all 3 hours of this live stream. Yeah, but it's been fun. It's been fun. Which master would you like 9 to meet through Big Finish? Derek Jacobi. I think Derek Jacobi would be really cool. I'd love to see Derek Jacobi and good old Eccleston. It'd be really iconic. So I think that's all the questions done. So I guess it's time to say good night and thank you very much for all the support over the past 10 years. And like good old Seth said, here's to another 10 years. So, we could be doing a 20-year anniversary live stream reacting to videos from 10 years ago, which would be absolutely crazy. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this stream, then please do like, subscribe if you haven't already, because we're on the road to 2K and I would love to reach 2,000 subscribers this year. That would be the absolute goal, and then we can begin the more celebrations on the channel and do some more celebratory videos, because I've got a few videos planned to celebrate 10 years and 2,000 subscribers. So I thought I'd combine them together to make it seem like one big grand occasion. So yeah, night everyone. Thank you very much. Being boss this stream. Night. Oh, thank you, Jess. Night everybody. Cheers everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure having you all, and thank you for all the questions and all the support over the past 10 years. It means a lot, and I'll hopefully see you very soon for some more shenanigans, and hopefully do another Q&A very soon, because what's not to love? Just having a nice chill chat about life and Doctor Who and seeing me cringe at fetus me with my very high voice. Thank you very much everyone, and I'll see you very soon. So take care, stay safe, and goodbye.